I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! Wake up this instant! Get up out the bed! That's right. Give some of you guys PTSD. I know we got some veterans watching the show. I should get I need to get a garage gym like a metal trash can. I could just like get up, you know what I mean? Give you that good wholesome feeling you used to get when you were in basic training, or for those of us who were former Marines when we were in boot camp. We have got an outstanding show today, although I think all of them are good. I'm really, really happy and excited to talk to all my guests. We have I think we occupy a unique space in the in fitness content, in that I try to introduce you guys to people who you've never heard of, and at the same time allow you to learn stories about people who you may know, but give you sort of a deeper understanding of them and their brands, and with a focus on the home gym community and what we care about. So I'm super excited to have Chris Kearney and Ben Clark from GymPin on. We're going to talk to them. I've been communicating with them for maybe 2 years, I think, maybe a little bit longer than that, but only through Instagram DM. So this is my first time actually getting to talk to them. I'm excited about that. And then also, I'm going to have professional gym equipment installer Travis Vinson, and he's going to come on. And he's just basically going to tell us some cool stories from some of the home gym setups that he's done. So you may not have heard of Travis, but I'll bet you've heard of some of the people that he has set up home gyms for. And so we'll be talking to him about that. He's going to be coming on at 7 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, Ashton, our guy Ashton from Freedom Fitness Equipment, is going to be here. We got a big announcement. We've been kind of sitting on it for a little bit, and I cannot wait to get that information out there to you guys. As always, if this is your first time checking out the Way Too Early for a Friday morning show, I really appreciate you being here. Hit that like button for me. If you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers. I am just under 35,000 right now, which is crazy to me. When I first started my YouTube journey, I never thought I'd get here. But the reality is I'm here and I'm not satisfied. Quickest way to kill a dream is to become satisfied with where you are, and I'm not satisfied. So I'm grateful, but let's keep on pushing and get to 50,000 subscribers. If you already subscribed, then do me a favor, share the video with somebody who should subscribe. Don't even give them a choice. Tell them, hey, subscribe to this channel. All right. And I appreciate that. Also, if you like to support the channel in a tangible way, I appreciate it. It costs 99 cents a month to become a member. Just click that join button that's in the bottom corner of the video, and you can join the channel for 99 cents a month. That will go a long way towards making the channel you supported, right? So I want it to be viewer supported, not brand supported. Currently, most of the money to running Garage Gym Life comes from brand deals, and I'd like to shift that and do more of the support for the channel coming from you guys. And at 99 cents a month, all I need is, hey, 30,000 of you guys would do it. So please go ahead, click that join button if you haven't already. And then let's see here. You guys know that we're gonna give shout outs. I already said wake up to the East Coast. It's 6:03 in the morning here. So it's time to get up, get out, and get something. And we're gonna do shout outs at the appropriate when it's 6 a.m. for the Central Time Zone, the Mountain Time Zone, and of course the West Coast. Special what do I call it? Honorable mention to the UK, because for you guys it's like almost afternoon there. So there's quite nothing I can do about that. Okay. But I do say that if you're in the UK, you have a special responsibility to your friends on this side of the Atlantic. You know the future. Tell us what's going to happen. Okay. Tell us if we need to invest in that thing or not. All right. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's jump into the live chat. My guy Carlos from Houston. Carlos, what's up, man? I'm going to send you a text or possibly call you while I'm on the treadmill later on today, because we got to have a conversation. I want to basically me. I'm coming with my hat in my hand, coming to beg favors. But shout out to Carlos. He's always the first one in the building. And then Eric Eccles, he's also from the Central Time Zone, but he's always here. Appreciate you being here, Eric Eccles. Pleasure to be joined by someone of your illustrious stature as an inventor. And of course, the Statty Daddy himself, the Kurt Locker, back from vacation. It's a great day to be alive. Don't F it up, man. I'm so motivated by that speech. I'm going to do just that, Kurt. My man, thanks for being here. Jake Jaworski, the man. Oh, no, I got the piece 2 fingers. What's up, Jake? Dragged him out of bed. Get up. Let's go. This is your precious few moments of freedom, Jake, before the kids wake up. Take advantage of it. Do all the stuff you can't do. You know, like moms, when the kids go to sleep, instead of getting some rest themselves, they try to do everything they can't do when the kids are awake. Do that now. All right. But anyway, plus, of course, you know, we're going to have news and other things. I got 2 news items we're going to talk about. And then, of course, the Recliner of Rage, which is our most popular segment. We're definitely going to do that. But without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on our first guest. You guys, as I said, you guys are definitely familiar with their products if you're not familiar with them. And so today, I'm going to let you guys get to know Chris and Ben. Give them a warm welcome. Welcome to this side of the Atlantic where freedom dwells.
Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing? I want to know how mysteriously Chris has clearer internet than Ben, and Ben's in an office. What's going on here? Chris is like parked right next to an antenna, a giant antenna or something. What's going on here? What's going on in the
I'm jumping on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm just in between us and our suppliers, so I thought I'd jump onto the Wi-Fi whilst that's still good.
Hey, I got no problem with that, man. So wait a minute. You said you're going to jump onto the Wi-Fi. So you're stealing someone's Wi-Fi as we speak. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
It's one of those victimless crimes.
Okay, that's hilarious. You know, Michael Vaudrey, who's an inventor. Let's go ahead and Mike's comment right there said, "Good morning, gentlemen." So he kind of resonates. He's where you guys were when you first started. So I'm gonna that kind of dovetails right into my first question, because the concept of the GymPin sounds like a no-brainer. All right. In fact, I constantly get people tagging me on Instagram with their weight stack extender stuff now, right? Like I'm gonna, okay, that sounded elitist in my head, so I'm gonna change it. I appreciate them reaching out to me, all right? But it's not like I'm gonna see it and be like, "Whoa, what's that? I can't believe this thing," So I've seen those before, yeah. And you guys were, as far as I know, the first ones to do it in the way that you could purchase. But I remember in my first job out of college back in 1995, I saw lifters using the little stack selector pin to add weights on it. So how did you guys come up with the idea for the original GymPin? Was it based upon that, or you just kind of said, you know what, there's got to be a way to make this work?
So this is one of my favorite stories to tell on social media is how it all came about.
I'm here to make you happy. Have at it.
They always say, is it necessity is the mother of invention? I've probably butchered that somewhere, but
actually that's perfect. That is it. Yeah.
Good. Right. Well, I've always trained. Training has been my sport for 15 years, and I was in a gym, and it's a sort of chain gym. It's not particularly hardcore, like Globo. I tell people it was like Globo gym off dodgeball. It was, not a particularly good gym. It was like a public gym, not hardcore or anything like that. And I was maxing machines, and I was using my logbook. Go more and more reps on the full stack. And I remember this was January and February 2020. And I remember on this particular adductor machine for the inner thighs, I was doing over 40 reps, and it just wasn't giving me the stimulus I wanted. I wasn't able to progressively overload. And I thought there's got to be a way to add more weight to this machine. So knowing that I know Chris likes to tinker and likes to design things and likes to manufacture things, I said, I literally sketched something out on a piece of paper and said, can you make me something like this? So He made a prototype out of material that was just in his scrap metal bin. I started using it at the gym. He won't mind me saying that it wasn't particularly good first time round, but several iterations later, we had something that I could use in my training. And then my friends in the gym just started saying, what's that? Can I get one of those? And we said, yeah, we can get you one of those. So we started to make 3 or 4, half a dozen for friends and things.
Okay. All right, so Ben, you're breaking up. We got to get you on the same Wi-Fi that Chris is stealing. Let's see. Well, I tell you what, Chris, let's pick up the story from you, because what I want to know is Ben calls you and says, hey, I was on the good girl, bad girl machine and I had an idea. All right. And what was your initial reaction when you first heard it? Did you immediately say, oh, that's a good idea? Or did you just like, sure, man, I'll make whatever you want. I'm busy, whatever. What was your
yeah, pretty much. I'll have a go at making anything. Yeah, I mean, Ben won't mind, but he was working on his legs. Like I know he needs to, to work on his legs, but he was full stacking the leg machine. And he said, I need you to make me something. And I just said, well, what is it? And he said, this end needs to be this big and this end needs to be this big. So I said, leave it with me. The material that I had to hand wasn't...
Or did he sketch it up?
No, he just described it. He just said 8mm one end, 50mm the other end. Gotcha. And we got something that weekend. He tried it. And he said, I said, how was it? How was it? And he said, it was crap. It snapped. So I said, right, okay, back to the drawing board. And that's really where the desire and the journey to try and achieve the strongest performing cable extender began.
Okay.
So we tried a lot of different materials, and we think we're happy with where we're at now. We've got the strongest performer, we feel. There's only so much an 8mm or 5/16 pin will take. The 3/8 or the 10mm that we have is far stronger just because it's thicker. But we are governed by the pin that goes into the weight stack. So we've got to work with the limitations of the machine that's there. So we feel like it's the strongest we can make it. And if it's used in the correct manner, people could just continue to keep adding weight to machines.
Okay.
So far, so good.
I heard you say 3/8. I heard you say 3/8, and I was like, there you go. We're bringing you to our side, our way of thinking. There you go. Come, let's get away from all that nasty metric stuff. I hate metric stuff only because when I do product reviews sometimes, so I'll have to like assemble things, and if it's from made outside of the United States, I have to deal with, it's not quite 1-to-1 to, all of my sockets are Imperial, and so I'm like, I don't do enough to get a metric set, but I do enough metric stuff to be annoyed when I can't, when it's not a match. So I love it. That's right. One UK resident at a time. We're gonna bring you back to the Imperial. We're gonna do it. All right. It could start with you. It could start with you, Chris. Ben, let me ask you something. When you described it to him, I mentioned that I've seen people in the public gym using the pin, that just a selector pin to hang weight on. Had you seen people do that? When you called to tell them, like, okay.
I'd seen people do that, and I'd done it myself. But on this particular machine, you couldn't do that because there was a guard in front of the stack.
So I got you.
I needed something that would stick out long enough to stick a plate on.
Gotcha.
And that was what I put to Chris. I said, I need you to make this for me, please.
Nice. All right. So, and by the way, you guys in the chat, if you have questions for either Chris or Ben, Chris, are you in your work van? Michael wants to know if you're in your work van. I don't know if he's looking for you.
Yeah.
As far as I know, he's here in America. But
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we wanted to join an hour early, so I'm not where I wanted to be. But that's okay.
You're doing great. like I said, your internet's working great. I'm happy with it. That's all I care about. If you guys are, the way it normally works, so if you guys are watching live, go ahead and throw your questions for these guys in your chat, whether you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn or on YouTube. Go ahead and I'll see it, and we'll make sure we ask it. But another cool product you guys have, and I think again you were the first to bring this out, was the D handlebar. In fact, when you said a D handlebar, I think it was you, Ben, who reached out to me, and you said, "Hey, would you like to check out our D handlebar?" First, I didn't know what a D handle was because I didn't call it that, right? And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "What could it possibly be?" Of course, yeah, I don't know what it is, so yeah, I'm happy to check it out. So then I Googled D handle. I was like, "Oh, that's what they call that." Okay, all right, cool. I've been using it since like 1993. I had no idea that was the actual name. But you guys had the D handlebar, and you guys sent one to me. And I think one of the questions that people asked me in the review was, "Why are all these holes in it?" Right? And I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, I feel like I was a pioneer because Ben told me, "Well, it's just to save weight on shipping, right?" But what I had been telling people was, "Oh, well, it's because, ergonomically, if you put the carabiners in a different places, you're going to get a different training stimulus. And so you want to vary your training stimuli. So, and I was even demonstrating. I said, no, maybe you put the clip in one end here and then come in a little bit closer on this side. Now you're going to get a different angle." I was really proud. And then Ben was like, "Nah, it's just to save weight on shipping." But,
Yeah.
but I refuse to be embarrassed. Because now I see people, and you guys have it on your Instagram. You have people doing that. So I don't need any money. I don't need any royalties. I just want to know. I just want to hear you say, "Yes, John, you're a pioneer. You were the one that gave us the idea." Go ahead. Here, I'll give you the big screen, Chris. Go ahead. Acknowledge me.
So this was a similar way this product came about. Ben gave me a brief. He said, "We want to do this bar. It wants to be able to have D handles on it with lots of adjustment." And the first prototype, at the time, I had a buddy that had CAD software. So our drawings, I'd go stand next to him on his computer and say, "Make it about this big." He put a bend in it. We want things to start there. And I did it, stood next to a buddy at the time. And we got the first one laser cut. And it was bloody heavy. It was probably overbuilt. We still have a version 1 on the wall, which we probably
it looks like part of a tractor or something. It's huge.
That's it. Yeah, it looks like some sort of lifting crane for taking an engine out. And at the time, the sweet spot. We'll go back to metric here. The 2 kilogram sweet spot for shipping seems to be the threshold for us at the time anyway on international parcels. So we had to get it under 2 kilos. So I'd like to think it was exactly the reason you gave, and it was for extra holes. It was for doing a cable crossover onto the 2 top holes, like we see folks doing, or flip the other way so you can get a central pull.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
but it was just weight.
It wasn't actually for that. It was to get rid of some weight. And I thought some of the isometric patterns would look cool. It's got a crank. It's not a straight bar. It's got a crank in it to help it self-center and keep everything straight. And we've done thicker versions. We've then done thinner versions for different budgets. We've done ones that are machined, ones that are made differently. And the latest is where the amalgamation of the T-bar attachment and a light D-handle bar has merged, giving us the Holy bar, which has the hole in the middle.
Yeah.
But we do a thin version of that, and now we're doing 2 or 3 weeks. So that will actually become our signature piece. It'll do the most things. It'll be the strongest, and we're doing a stainless steel version of it too.
Okay, so you said you have the Holy bar that's going to be your signature piece, the one that's coming out now, in a few weeks, rather.
It will be, yeah. Essentially, just because our 30-inch Pro D-handle bar has taken the top spot for us, but this Pro Holy bar will just be able to do more stuff. so it will take the top spot.
So is that
that'll
on
be
your website right?
That'll be
That's
with
on
us
your
very
website now?
soon.
Is that on the website right now?
It is, but it's not available just yet. It is available to see. Well, it's not been made yet. It's on a listing. If it's not already, but we will open that for pre-orders because that will be with us very soon.
Okay, hold on. Yes, you can see it, but it hasn't been made yet. So this is like concept art, or is it like you've got a prototype or something?
The products there are available. It may have a different picture, but the actual piece itself.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man. That's and I love it. You know, there's nothing that warms any sort of journalism. So I trained. I was going to be a reporter when I was in college, and there's nothing that warms a journalist's heart as much as breaking news. So it sounds like you just broke news right here. So I'm happy with you completely, Ben. I want you to know, man, because I never really told you, I don't think, but I really did enjoy training with that D handlebar. And if you're wondering how come you never see me train with it anymore, it's because in like an outbreak of philanthropy, I gave it away. So what happened is my brother was hosting the first ever Static Monsters event. For those who don't know, that's a strongman competition. It's a worldwide strongman competition where people compete simultaneously. It's all on the same day. They're all competing against each other. And so he was hosting the first one in Cleveland, Tennessee. And we were going to give away prizes to all of the winners. Well, we ran short. One of the sponsors didn't send up as much stuff as we thought they would. And so we didn't have a prize to give to one of the categories. And so I was like, well, what's a cool thing I have that I could part with, you know, and that also still looks new. And so I was like, all right, you know, it's slightly used, but okay. And so I gave away my D handlebar. But I want to know, I'm going to do this. I was very sad. And I watched the people the whole time as they were driving away. I kind of like waved at it a little bit. And I was a little bit depressed. And there's not even a question associated with this. I just wanted to kind of share that. And I feel better.
Well, I'm sure we could hook you up with a 30-inch holy bar or something like that, because we need that reviewing.
Oh, well, you got my address is the exact same. Send that thing on my way. I live in the same place.
Good.
I try to make it easy for you guys to send me stuff. I don't move. So yeah, same address, same everything.
Good.
Yeah, man. Let's see. I think we've got some
just on that, John, we've recently got a new machine, and it allows us to finish the products in a different way to get us it allows us to clear coat stuff. So it almost looks like raw steel, but it's got a shiny layer on top. Nice. I think Ben's teased it on a couple of the products on socials. We will be stocking stuff in that color very soon. But in terms of the D handlebar, we do a 304 stainless option, which just comes uncoated. So it's a really good option. If you want something that pops a little more, we can do a clear coat on top of that, or we just have the textured black. So if you let us know which one you fancy, we can get one of those sorted. Love to hear your feedback on one of those.
Oh, heck yeah. So I'm looking at, this is the holy bar, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. You know, I can see the differences right there. Oh yeah. So it could be a T-bar row. Oh, heck yeah. I'd love to play with that thing. Heck yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. The next thing, I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat. That is GymPin right there, which is my segue to tell you guys to go ahead and subscribe to their YouTube. And also, you want to follow GymPin on Instagram. Follow their Instagram. You'll see a lot of the products being used. It's going across the bottom there, but you also have all of the links to subscribe to their YouTube, to go to their website to shop for things like the Holy Bar, or any of their other products. And all those links are in the video description for this video. So go ahead and make sure you take advantage of that. Let's see here. Got my guy Jonathan, No Fate 24/7, checking in. I'm sorry, checking in. Yeah. Hey, my man, I appreciate you being here, man. He's also another person that you guys might want to reach out to. Jonathan does some really good reviews.
I've got Jonathan's sticker on the back of my laptop. We
Oh,
know
look at that.
Jonathan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I know that Jonathan's a big deal, okay, but I just want to make sure that everybody else knows too. Yeah. All right. So let's go. The other thing I want to say is, because you're talking about the deholding part, and you've got a ton of other, what would I say, like innovations. So just like I said, the thing, when I was saying that I see the holes and I think that they're used for one thing, which wasn't really your goal when you did it. How much, but now you're like, oh, wait, that's actually not a bad idea. How much of the innovations with your products come from, just customer feedback or just watching what people do with your stuff on social media? Because I know there's got to be at least something sketchy you've seen somebody do and say, can we get sued for that? Can we get sued for that? Oh, it worked. Okay, yeah, cool. We'll put it on our Instagram. So tell me about how that process works, Ben.
I think we, when we try and design a product, we usually, start with the end in mind and try and think of what we're exactly trying to achieve. So with the D-handle bar, and to give context, we don't really have a home gym scene in the UK, and I don't have a home gym that I train in. I train in a commercial gym locally to me. So I'm thinking, right, when we've got the D-handle bar, we need it to do this, 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 and this. And then we design it and we're happy with it and we release it. But then it gets used in scenarios that we hadn't tried ourselves. For example, like you said, where you've got a home gym and you wanted to connect the two stacks with the smaller holes on the D-handle bar. Now we put the smaller holes on for weight saving purposes and aesthetics mainly, because we thought they looked cool. But then actually we found out that they have a functionality that they can be used to add carabiners through the top, which is great. So it's difficult to say, but the community and our audience certainly has a massive influence on where our product range goes and how it changes, because they come back to us and they give us ideas and they say, hey, do you think you can include this? And we go, it's just like a light bulb moment, and we think, wow, we've got to include that. So yes, the community and our customers have a big influence over our product range and what we design, quite frankly. So anybody who's reached out to us, they know who they are, and all we can say is thank you for that. Really, people like yourself, you were one of the first to connect the carabiners through the top of the D-handle bar and things like that, and we've then thought, all right, great. What does that
acknowledge me? Thank you. Yes, that's all I wanted.
Yeah. But that helps because we'll have a lot of questions from the home gym scene who will say, can I use this to connect two stacks? And it's people like yourself who try it, and we go, actually, yeah, we can. Here's a picture of John doing it. So it's that all helps.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. First of all, shout out to Travis. He says there's no shame in freebies. I'm not ashamed at all, Travis. I mean, look at my face. I'm delighted. All right. And my guy Kurt from the Kurt Locker, he says, did someone say freebie? You got his attention as well. And you've got a new follower, Carlos. He's following you guys on IG. So here's the thing about the home gym community. And I mean, I've got some followers in the UK who have home gyms, but I understand, your garages are smaller. Your homes are smaller. So there's a little bit, hang on a second. Kurt's headed off to Unit PT. There you go. All right, Matt Sergeant, get back to work. That's right. See you guys. See you in a little bit. Kurt is an active duty member of the Air Force. So every time he's able to, he checks in right before his workday starts. And I appreciate that. Anyway, I think the thing though about the home gym is when I worked in a public gym, I noticed that people would basically do what they saw other people doing. Yeah. And I understand it, because when you come in, especially if you've never worked out before, they give you like the tour and they say, oh, this is how you use this. They've got the guy who's in college, walks around with you and says, this is how you use this. And they tell you how to use all these pieces of equipment. And then they also have staff there. So if you start trying to be a little bit too far out there with your experimentation, they'll run right over and say, no, don't do that, because they're terrified you'll break the machine. Well, in my home gym, I'm the only one here. The only limiter is my wife. And if she's on a call, she ain't gonna catch me until that call's over, right? So I get to do I'm free to do what I please, within reason. So I think that's why you see so much innovation from the home gym space, because we don't have the fear of anyone around us looking at us and saying, "What's that weird thing you're doing? You're using that wrong," or we don't have the fear that we're gonna get kicked out of the gym for trying stuff. So I think that it actually makes sense to me that companies that market to the commercial space would still have their toe in the home gym space, because that's where a lot of the ideas are going to come from. They're not all going to be good ideas, I will admit that, but that's where the ideas are going to come from, because we don't have that fear of public rejection, I guess. So I think that that's a big thing.
Freedom.
Let's now, having said all that, what in the world is going on with taco handles? First question: why is it named after a Mexican hand-sized corner wheat tortilla topped with a filling? Yes, I looked what a taco specifically was, because I'm all about research. What's a taco handle, Chris?
This was something that came about when we looked at. I don't want to say too much, but we've got a universal Jamaram adapter.
Share as much as you like.
Solution, and it had to come with a weight horn, and it had to come with a handle, and we thought, what can we do with the handle? And we wanted to see if we could make it adjustable, so you could change. More adjustments better in our eyes. If you don't want to adjust something that doesn't need adjusting, you want the adjustment in the right places. So this was something that we just one late night, we thought, right, you'd have to clamp it like that. You'd have to have a handle there. You want it moving it through this motion, and we've got the software now, so things tend to come to life on the screen, really. And next thing, we'll get something coming back from the laser cutter, and I'll say, Ben, come and have a look at this that I've done. And some things are good, some things are crap, and some things don't ever make it. We have a shelf of stuff that never made it. But these taco handles, it's not firmly been called that. It's loosely been called what it looks like. I think because the components sit in their separate piles, that looks like a taco. The handle don't know what it looks like. We've got these things available. We've in the past gone out to our followers and the community to ask what are people's opinion on the name. It might change. I don't know. What do you think of the name?
Well, I mean, I guess I can see it now. So just for anyone if you're listening to the audio version on Podbean, you'll need to go to either YouTube or Facebook to see what we're talking about, because I'm actually I'm on the GymPin website right now, and so I'm pulling up what it looks like. And to me, I can understand now. Now I'm looking at it, and you say that it kind of does look like a taco, but it doesn't necessarily tell me, if I don't see the picture, what I'm looking for. That's the only thing. But then calling it an adjustable lever arm heavy duty handle is boring and long. So I think it's one of those things where you just got to get I can see the connection with other merch. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a taco t-shirt, and only the people who know what it is will know what that is. Hey, let's go get tacos. That kind of thing. Yeah. on the shirt. You can have that for free. But it's just like, what I mean? It's like you can build community around the product, and I think that there's always tremendous potential whenever you can build community around a product. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think of it. Carlos in Houston says, being from Texas, named Carlos and living close to Mexico, he likes the name. So there you go. You got two seals of approval right there. But are you going to buy one? That's the question, Carlos. You see the pre-order is available, so you go ahead and you can pre-order it. That's the true proof. Does it sell? I think you said, though, Chris, that this was the product of a collaboration. And I know you don't want to get too much into it, but was it the product of you guys do a lot of collaboration, so I just want to know if it's another one of them.
This is one aspect of something larger, a full jammer arm kit, if you like. So this is something that was developed to be part of that really is a standalone item, we feel, because this will attach to any size lever arm with spacing.
No. What I mean is this the product of a collaboration with a content creator? Or is this something that you guys just developed in house without any outside?
No, I think we could. Yeah, I think we've been working with Kyle, Kaizen DIY Gym for a while now. This is the result of an initial concept. So really, it's been whilst we've been working with Kyle, this has come about because when it was brainstormed on one of the calls, having an adjustable handle was a good thing to have at the time, and this is really it coming to life. So yeah, it's been done with the help of Kyle.
Yeah. So so it's basically part of like the jammer arm project that you guys do with it, and I'm saying that because Travis is asking, is this a variant of the landmine? I guess you could kind of see it that way, even though it's higher up. It's more to me. It's more like a variation of a shoulder press with independent movement. Is that accurate?
It's like a universal joint, really. It allows that whatever is on the end of the arm to go wherever, really.
Okay.
The landmine, we actually have we have a product that is the landmine. It's just not made it to the market yet. We have the first batch, have them powder coated. They'll be ready very soon. They're in testing mode, so we like to tweak things as best we can before they hit market. Sometimes they hit market, and the customers continue to help us make it better, really, because me and Ben can't think of all the different eventualities. And like you said, you flipped it around and connected it up with the D handlebar. So we very much are led by our customers and our followers, and we appreciate their help a lot.
Yeah, and so Ben, you said like the to touch on that landmine. I was familiar with this from kind of just I periodically just go to your website and look around, and so I see is this what you're talking the T-bar row landmine barbell attachment. I love that because you guys said that you noticed that people were using the GymPin for landmine stuff and for belt squat, and you're like, hey, why not create something to make that a little bit better and safer, So is this what you're talking about as far as your landmine attachment, or is this yet another product? And I really like this. This is my favorite picture of it too, where it's just you're showing like the D handlebar, this attachment, and then your angle grips, which is I think a cool collab.
So the landmine, we actually have the piece that will sit in the corner of the gym for you to bolt to the floor and put a barbell in as well.
Nice. Okay.
That's not on the website yet, is it, Chris?
No, that was the thing I was just talking about. And then you brought up the T-bar landmine, so it's sort of it's just another attachment. The bit I was talking about was the base that you put your barbell into that can attach to a rack, and that's like a mini version of our jammer arm adapters, which you can see why they look. They share a lot of similarities.
It's like you're building an ecosystem where
it's like a little mini one, little mini one that sits at the bottom.
So like you have like all the periodically I'll see like with companies where they make multiple things, but all of the things don't fit with each other. And so I love that you guys are basically saying, oh, well, you could use this with this, with this, and with this. And are you guys going to make it available as a bundle?
Yeah.
Yeah. If someone wants a bundle putting together, I mean, what would be in the bundle? Which ones are you talking about?
Anything that's related to a landmine. So like if to me, and I'm saying like, okay, I may show up to get this thing looking for landmine. You say, oh, well, hey, you're ordering this, but by the way, you need a handle for it, and don't use that whatever that weird thing that you've got at the house, you can also buy this. They will all work well together. That's what I mean. Like it's gonna be kind of like a bundle at checkout. Okay. I like what's going on with the double length tri-grip ropes. I haven't really seen a whole lot. I love that product. That's full disclosure. You guys sent me one of those as well. I tried it out. I loved it. But I don't really see you guys pushing that as much. Is it because you're not getting, I don't know, is it just not popular on the commercial side? Is it not something that's popular on the home gym side? What's going on with those?
It's very popular. It's been
okay.
It's
I'm
very...
like, I don't see anybody. Well, everything I see from you guys is the GymPin and the T handlebar. I don't see much on the tri-grip ropes. I'm like,
no, it's very popular. It's quite difficult to make content around a tricep rope or original content.
Okay.
But it's very popular. No, if you raise a good point. If people want to see more of it, then that's something we need to focus on, because I use them all the time in my personal training. I think they're the best tricep ropes in the world, and I want to get the word out there.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it because so first of all, I like the thickness because I know Kurt's not on here right now, but he'll see this on the replay or hear it on the replay. The tri-grip ropes is great in my opinion because it's thick, so you can use it for things like if I want to do rope pull-ups, I've used it for rope pull-ups, and it's long enough so my power rack is, unless I'm testing one, typically I have a power rack that's fairly high up, so I've got the room to be able to have this long rope, and it works great for that. It's also great in my opinion if you attach it to a sled and you drag it because the ropes are nice and thick. But then the biggest thing, just from a specific tricep training point of view, was you could do kickbacks with it. I've never been, and so you have continuous tension. If you try to do, those of you guys who are watching who try to do tricep kickbacks, you always have to use a dumbbell, because if you try to use a rope and get continuous tension, the rope is too short, and so the rope is going to hit you in the chest. But with your rope, because it's so long, I've got the range of motion to be able to do it. So it's actually my favorite. It actually makes it worth my time to do tricep kickbacks. Because otherwise I'm like, there's no resistance for most of the movement. You know what I mean? You just only get resistance at the very top. I get the impression that a lot of your products come about because Ben calls Chris with some crazy idea. Is that basically how your workflow goes? Like you just have your phone, like, do you have a special phone that is red and it rings when Ben's got an idea, like Batman and Commissioner Gordon?
Special ringtone, yeah, when it's Ben.
Yeah. It's like, oh God, don't answer it, it's him again.
The Death Star of Star Wars. Yeah.
There you go. So is that how your workflow goes?
It works both ways, because sometimes I'll say to Chris, I think we need to do this, but I'm not. Chris's technical knowledge massively outweighs ours, so his knowledge of the processes and things like that, and the value he'll be able to add is he could say, well, how about we manufacture it using this, and the benefit is X, Y, and Z. So things like the D handlebar, I said let's make the D handlebar, and then Chris came up with the stainless steel version that could be used outdoors. So we prototyped one for a chap over in Finland who trains outdoors. Now I had no idea to make it out of stainless steel, but Chris brought that to the table. So I'd say it's 50-50 in terms of originating ideas. I come up with some, Chris comes up with some, and we sort of and we listen to the community. We ask our followers, and we get something that's we think is viable. Chris, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, that was pretty good. That pretty much sums it up. There's constantly things coming through the workshop really that are new, and that's the fun part. That's the part I like. So we love it when someone new reaches out and they say, "Hey, I've got this idea," and we'd love to listen to things like that.
All right, so I'm glad you said that, because that's going to be one of the questions I ask you later on about people reaching out to you. But obviously this is a home gym focused channel, but we discussed already that you guys have a fair amount of commercial, um, your foot in the commercial side of things. What I wondered is how do gyms react when your customer shows up with like this, you've got like the seatbelt buckle thing. How do they react when your customer shows up with this product that you guys have created? Because like I said, there's always that college student that works the front desk whose job it is to run over and stop you from doing stuff that's cool, right? So, what's been the feedback from customers in public gyms whenever they take your products there to use? Go ahead, Ben.
The seatbelt specifically?
No, just about any of your products, because you have a lot of stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, I've even heard people say this about the GymPin or any weight stack extender, where they're like, well, the machine was designed to support a specific amount of weight. So if you add another 90 pounds, you're going to exceed the machine's tolerances. So when someone shows up at a public gym with one of your products, have you heard any tales from customers saying, hey, like, yeah, they hated it when I used this at the gym, or I got kicked out for using your thing at the gym. Have you guys had any issues like that?
So we sell a lot to gyms directly who have them behind the front desk for their members. A lot of people use the GymPins for incremental progress, so they're adding incremental plate to the stack. We never want to get anybody in trouble, so we do always suggest that people ask the owner's permission before they do start adding plates to machines. But widely, they've been very well received, I think I'd say, Chris.
I think you touched on it at the start, the difference between the garage home gym community having their own setup at home. I mean, largely when we started making these things, that's exactly who they were going to, especially in the UK. During lockdown was people were doing what they could with the space that they had, with the equipment that they had access to. It was very much a year or two of people training at homes whilst gyms were shut. So on the whole, largely these products were going to, Joe, John, Jack at their house, and they were able to determine whether or not they wanted to use these bits of equipment. Then lockdown lifted and gyms started opening up, and they started going into commercial gyms, and that's where we set off wanting a GymPin in every gym in the world, and now it's people are having them themselves. People want their names writing on them and engraving, which can be done if people want it and they want to send us a message about that. So people have been taking them on the plane in the hand luggage. We wouldn't recommend taking it on in the hand luggage because it will probably be taken off them by the airline. But people keep them like a possession. They don't leave it in the gym because it will likely go missing. So a lot of people have them for themselves, and if they have a range of equipment that they have access to, they may have more than one of them. If they've got a machine where there's limitations around the front, they might have the short stubby one. They might have an 8mm machine over there and a 10mm machine over there. So we make all different shapes and sizes, and we have people coming back for different shapes and sizes to suit different machines. And ultimately, we originally thought, let's get it in every gym, and now let's get it in every gym bag because people want them for themselves. But like Ben said, gym owners are, filling their gyms with equipment to help people customize the weight on their gym equipment, essentially.
That makes sense. I didn't even think about that. That coming out of lockdown, gyms were desperate to get people back in. Because they had to. They obviously had money. Some of them lost money. Gyms were closing because their revenue. So I can see that they were like, we're not doing any. I don't care what they do. We're not doing anything to discourage people from coming in. And I can just imagine. You mentioned people taking it in their carry-on bags. I can just imagine what that looks like on the X-ray scanner, like the TSA person. They're like, what is that? You know, so I can just imagine somebody's got a GymPin in it. Now in my head, that's hilarious.
I had a message from someone who took it onto an air in his hand luggage, and he had to show our Instagram to the security guard, and the
That's
security
hilarious.
guard just said, "Right, get it gone, and don't bring it on a plane again."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I guess well, okay, I don't even want to get into what all the things it could be potentially. Only a couple more from me, and then I'll let you guys go. You guys I can't let you leave without talking about the elephant in the room. You guys have unfortunately been sort of caught up in the controversy with PRX.
Yeah.
And what's going on because you sell products here in the US. And I noticed that you've tried to stay out of the fray as much as possible. So I'm not trying to get you guys to jump in the mud or anything like that. But I am curious, because I don't know. The patent is a US patent. So would that even affect you guys in the UK, you know, for your sales? Like you said, you're selling to a guy in Finland. I mean, the patent over here isn't going to affect you guys over there. It really would just affect what's going on here in the US. Am I correct? They're like, I don't know. Who wants to answer that one? All right, Ben. That's why you're here, Ben, to answer the tough questions.
Yeah, I mean, so just we've sort of stayed on the sidelines whilst Kyle has, and we've you know, as you said, we're sort of partnering with Kyle on the adapters, and we've been brought into the situation via Kyle. It's Kyle who's been doing the majority of the talking and the majority of the responses to everything that's been going on. We weren't aware that he'd spoken to PRX previously. We just did a partnership with Kyle, and it's worked out well since. So I guess Kyle feels slightly more hard done by than we do, because we had no prior conversation with PRX. In terms of the strength of the patent, I can't comment, to be honest. Not entirely sure. We need to understand the legalities of it. Can't share too much at this stage, but there's been conversations happening behind the scenes, and I'm sure there'll be some answers to a lot of the questions people have very shortly. So watch this space.
Hey, you guys heard that? He's coming back on. You heard that, right? He said, watch this space. There you go. I was going to invite you. Hey, and, you know, we've got a UK representative, Matt Welch, coming in here. Good morning, America. What's up, Matt? So he is a home gym owner in the UK. And I think he lives near Nottingham, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, he actually has his home gym in what you guys call a back garden. So he built it himself. So yeah, that's a potential customer there for you. I got a question. I only have one more question for you guys, but there is a question in the chat. So Travis wants to know, how do you keep the stack from rocking if you have the weight on the front versus it being balanced front and back? So with the GymPin, you know,
I think the best, from a pure physics point of view, the best thing you can do is put one on the front and the back.
That's a buy two. Okay.
in practicality,
if you're going to split this stack straight down the middle and you want a perfect weight distribution, yeah, you've got to have something on both sides. Now, the fitment of the GymPin is probably the most important thing. If you don't get the correct size, it's not going to perform like it should. So 8 and 10 millimeter has to be chosen wisely or correctly for the machine, and you can put them in different positions. So there is customers of ours that literally they're running out of space on the GymPin and they've got to stick one in the other side, and they're lifting some weight. So to make everything run as smoothly as possible, to reduce as much friction in the rollers or the bearings, whatever the machine has, stick one on both sides if that's doable.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, we're talking. There's some folks that I don't know if I can give any figures, but There's some. If you just got to look at the Instagram, there's some heavy stacks being lifted by some big girls and girls, big guys and girls.
Yeah, I've seen. That's what I was gonna say. I've seen people with 2 or 3 45-pound plates stacked on there, and it does depend also on what the movement is. So you're gonna typically, like on a low cable row, you're gonna see people stacking up the weight quite a bit. Whereas on something like maybe like cable crossover, you're not gonna see as much weight. Somebody's doing the cable crossover because you just physically can't handle as much weight. So even if you have a gym pin on each side of the 2 different stacks, you're still not going to be stressing the stack out so much because it's just So it's it just seems to work out. It worked when I used it. Let's put it like that. That's what I can say.
In practicality, I use the gym pin every week, and I only use one gym pin. And because the plate sits flush to the stack, it doesn't really have the forward. The moment arm isn't great enough to really cause any sticking or rocking or anything like that. It's never impacted me in my training. So, I've never
Depends what type of weight plates you've got. If you've got bumper plates that are really, really thick, your weight's going to be sat further out, and it's going to want to pull. If you got nice slimline plates, it will be almost one of the stack, as tight in as possible.
Nice. All right, so last 2 questions from me. You mentioned that, so we've got the taco handles that are coming out. You mentioned the landmine. What else can we look forward to coming out from GymPin this year?
Ooh.
We have if you've seen our Instagram post recently, we've got our new hybrid D handles, which have rotating hooks on to do things like pull-ups and rows, which are really, really cool. They've had a fantastic response. We've got different colors coming out. We've got, Chris, what else have we got in the pipeline?
We've got for the folks that have fixed plate loading machines. We're doing work on adjusting strength curves and stuff like that for specific machines. So there's stuff going on behind the scenes to change the motion of the in layman's terms, heavy at the bottom, light at the top, heavy at the bottom, changing that sort of stuff on various different machines. So it's going to be something that will retrofit.
Okay. So
for the folks that are really trying to dial in their training.
Nice. All right. Last one. You mentioned that you like it when people reach out to you with ideas. If someone they have an idea and they want to reach out to you and say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to make it. So Michael Vaudreuil, for example, has a product that he took to Home Gym Con. Hope you guys are going to be there next year, by the way. But Michael Vaudreuil had a product he took to Home Gym Con. And he was looking to partner with a brand to develop it. So someone who's in that situation, if they want to reach out to you guys, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you? Should they reach out by email? Should they just follow you on Instagram and send you a DM? Like, what's the best way for them to reach out to you? Go ahead, Ben.
Whatever their preferred method is, we'll take an email, we'll take a DM.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben tends to deal with the DMs. I'm on the emails, so it'll get to either one of us.
Okay.
We went to meet we had a gentleman reach out last week. Oh no, he reached out a few weeks ago, but we went to meet him last week locally. And we spent nearly 3 hours with him talking through the product and how we're going to bring it to market and what's it going to be used for. So that's a cable system for home gym users, actually. So I'm actually really, we haven't mentioned that thus far, and we've not showed that on social media yet, but that's really going to fit nicely in the market. But we met him and we met him. We've had talked everything through, set up a WhatsApp group, and we're just bouncing around designs and pictures, and going to get some prototypes made over the next couple of weeks and bring it to market, hopefully end of July or something like that.
Nice. All right, so when you come back, and you have an open invitation. When you come back, I'm hoping to hear more about that product. You've got somebody who says that the Holy Bar is awesome. And then Michael Vaudrey, who I mentioned, just gave us a thumbs up. Because you guys work with people who are, I wanted to bring him up specifically, not just because he is an inventor, but also because you guys do work with people here in the US. You don't have to be based in the UK in order to collaborate with you. And I can say that you have a good, I will say this too, you have a very good track record from what I can tell of not just stealing somebody's idea. And that's another reason why I want to commend you, because I know there's tremendous temptation. You see something and to just take it. And I know that there's temptation because other companies do it. I'm not mentioning names, but I see people do it. And so I commend you guys for being willing to partner with smaller inventors and help them bring their dream to life in a way that benefits all of us who are here on the consumer side. So I really appreciate that. Guys, this was great. I loved having you here, and I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your day. Chris, Ben, it was great to finally meet you guys and talk, meet you and talk to you. And I hope you'll come back on.
Thanks for having us, John. We enjoyed it. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thanks, John.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So that was GymPin. These are some of the, I'd say, some of the pioneers in the, even though it's funny because they don't have home gyms, but to me, they've pioneered quite a number of products in the home gym space. And again, it's something that we have to thank lockdown for. It's like a blessing in disguise. When something happens, we think it's horrible, but look at all of the good things that came out of lockdown, all of the innovations we got because of lockdown that we would not have had without it, without being put in that situation where, number one, so many of us are stuck in the house and nothing but to do but time to think and come up with our crazy idea. Matt says, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm dealing with idiots at work, putting them in the recliner or rage. Hey, man, Matt, I'm glad you were here, but I specifically wanted you on because GymPin was on, and I wanted, and they kind of said, they were talking about how there's not a big home gym scene, or at least not as big as it is here in the US. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that they were a point of contact, that, a company that you should kind of check out, investigate. And I just wanted to put them on your radar if they haven't already been on your radar. So I'm glad that you're here. And yeah, Carlos, I can tell Matt is not happy. So let's see here. So it is now 7:03. So shout out to the Central Time Zone. I know I've already had some of you guys here checking me out already, some early risers. But for those of you who are just now waking up at 6 a.m. for you, appreciate you being here. Don't forget to hit that like and that subscribe for me. I keep on saying it every week, and I'm going to keep saying it till we get there, because we're trying to reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers, and I cannot do that without you guys. Something I want to say is also, you guys can check us out on Podbean if you're not, because I know people can't always watch the entire show. And in fact, the show is designed so that you don't have to watch the entire thing. I fully expect that, you're getting your day started and you may need to, get off of YouTube, because you have the GPS on or whatever. But we do have the audio version of this show now available on Podbean. So the link to do that is in the live chat. You can click on that. If you have to go click on the live chat, click on the link that's in the live chat. I also put it in the video description so you guys can grab it and check it out. All of the episodes, starting with my live stream from Home Gym Con, are on Podbean, so you guys can put it on and listen to it. We've got, I think there's about 40, maybe 60 hours of content on there. So if you're going on a road trip, you just throw it on and listen to some, what I consider to be some outstanding fitness content with your favorite content creators and brands. So I appreciate all you guys for being here, and we're getting ready to bring on our next guest. This is going to be a fun one. All right. So you guys may not be familiar with Travis Vinson. Travis runs a company called Travis Assembly Services. He actually is the guy who installed my water rower. And so we started talking, and that led to me saying, "Man, I gotta have you on my show because I knew he was gonna be a good interview. He's got some really cool stories, I think, and so I'm ready to bring him on here. So everybody, you don't know him yet, but you're about to know him. My guy Travis Vinson. Come on, Travis.
What's going on?
Not much, man. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you jumping on with me. And it took me way too, because you installed the water rower a while back. And I said, yeah, man, I'm going to have you on. I know you were like, man, this dude forgot all about me. But it's just, I schedule stuff out pretty far. So I was like, I had to wait till I got to a spot in the show where I could have somebody on, where I could bring you on and not have to, and give you my full attention. So thank you for being here.
Not a problem. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, my man. I think this is just from what we were talking about offline. I think this is going to be awesome. So, for anybody who doesn't know, who you are, give them, give them the elevator speech. Or I guess I shouldn't say elevator speech. Let's say you're at a party and somebody says, "Hey, Travis, what do you do?" Give them
basically, you need something delivered. You buy it at the store. You don't have a truck. You can call me. I can deliver it to your location, and I can assemble it for you. I have been doing this roughly since 2000. I actually fell into it by accident. Apparently, being able to use tools on fitness equipment is a rare art, so to speak. So it starts out where basically anything that you need put together, I can do it. And of course, fitness, I acquired the repair skills thanks to Nick from Absolute Logistics and Sports Construction. But when to go a little further back, when I was about 12, 13, 14, my stepdad and I were talking about jobs and stuff. And like everybody else, all the other guys, they want the cool jobs, the Army guy, doctor, jet fighter, and all that. My dad told me, find something you like doing and find a way to make money at it. And I'm like, nobody's going to pay me to put Lego kits and model kits together. And boy, was I wrong, because inadvertently, this is what it is. So you take part A to part B and use hardware C, and there you go.
Nice.
And like anything else, the first time you do it, it is a little long. I mean, you yourself said that you've put some fitness equipment together. It does take you a little while to get some things going. But by the time, it's like any other job, the first day you do it is not as efficient as the 100th day you do it. So because I can, I have put this together before, I kind of have an idea where the parts go. I just look at the instruction manual because of the hardware, because some manufacturers will have two variants. One may be in red, one may be a little more custom. And so the hardware changes a little bit just to match what's going on. And so, yes, I do look at the instructions. I am not the typical alpha male. I don't need instructions. I keep those suckers right there beside me. I have them stacked up. And, when I have certain units that need help, they're on a certain step of the equipment. I'm on a certain step. I will separate the instructions. And I tell them, keep them with you. So with going on that, and then basically I fell into it in 2000. Roughly 2005, 2006, I was answering a Craigslist ad to put some equipment together, and it ended up being, like I said, Nick Hugio with Absolute Construction and Logistics. They needed a treadmill put together, and then pretty much the relationship started there, and then moved on up. And then next thing you know, I've gotten several clients who send me work directly, and then I take care of it.
Nice. So it was funny because we got Ashton from Freedom Fitness coming up after you, and he's already backstage, right? And when you mentioned that you install equipment, I just saw Ashton's face. He was like, huh? Like he perked right up, right? So you got his attention. So the goal is for at the end of this show, Ashton to reach out to you and say, hey, and next thing, and then you guys go into business with each other.
I'm always willing to take on extra clients.
There you go. All right. So let's talk about some of your home gym installs. As you can see from over, this shoulder, I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but you do a lot of home gym stuff. So what would you say is the most memorable home gym install that you've ever done?
I'm going to say there's probably two that I talk about the most. Now, I didn't sign any NDAs, but I am going to respect people's privacy, so I can't tell you exactly where, However, I get this work order from this one company, and I got to pick it up at the terminal, take it to the customer's house.
Okay.
And the guy isn't there, but his property manager is. And so he tells me to go around to the back, and I'm a little long-winded, like a Southern Baptist preacher. So please, if you need to, go ahead, hurry me along. And so I go around the back, and I step in through the back door through the basement, and beautiful piece of property. And I go walking through, and there's white carpet. I'm like, ugh. So we put down floor covering to get into the gym, and I'm seeing athletic memorabilia all over the place. I am not a fan of sports. I'm sorry. I know, take my guy card. But I'm not a fan of sports. But you hear these names all the time, or you see logos, so you know what's. I mean, I'm not stupid, so I do know that there are, who the Lakers are, and who. Yeah. So we go into this guy's gym, and I'm seeing a specific brand of shoes all around at the baseboard.
Okay.
Nike. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble. But there's all these Nike shoes and various Air Jordans on the floor stacked along the wall.
Okay. I've not heard this story in case you guys are watching my face. All right. If you're listening on the audio, you're not going to see my face, but this is this story. So I'm enjoying this. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have in my area, there is access to a lot of celebrities.
No. I'm saying I'm enjoying the build-up.
So we get started working, and I'm looking at the work order, and I'm seeing a lot of this. And I'm like, this guy's got some money. So I'm asking my helper at the time, and I said, okay, I'm not into sports, but you are. Does this name sound familiar? And he's like, it does, but I don't know why. And he looked it up, and sure enough, Jordan Hill.
Okay.
Played for the I think at the time it was the Pacers.
Okay.
Playing basketball.
Nice.
And so that was really cool. And I mean, he wasn't home at the time. I think he was actually on the road. But I confirmed with the property manager, and he's like, "Yeah, that's who you think it is." I'm like, "Really? This close? All right." So I'm actually in this guy's room, putting his equipment together.
Yeah.
It was really awesome. And then the second most, and this is the one that kind of helped me to break out on my own. I was thinking about it at this point. So local area, go and pick up at the store this fitness equipment. I see the name, but I didn't know, I didn't make the connection, but it was his wife.
Right.
So I go in, knock on the door. She says, "Well, would you mind delivering it to the basement in the back?" So no problem. So we go around to the back. She opens up the door. I go in, tells me where she wants to put it, and then she proceeds to go back up to the main floor. And I'm looking around, and I'm seeing this guy, the celebrity, all over the walls, and he's with other notable political figures, activists. And I'm like, okay, well, they're a fan of his. And if I had somebody with my last name that was famous, I would probably be a little bit of a follower of him too. Yeah. So I'm getting started, and I'm hearing this guy, kind of double stepping down the stairs, and he goes, "Hey, Travis, how you doing?" And I panicked, and I stood up, turned around, and it was Herman Cain.
Wow, nice.
that totally blew me away. I mean, everybody who's ever watched politics knows who he is. But
Yeah, yeah.
locally,
So
he's on my local
basically, you
radio
were this
station.
close to somebody who almost became president of the United States.
You know?
Yeah, he's a
And
presidential
so,
candidate. Yeah,
yeah, but also he's on the local radio station,
Talk, yeah, talk radio,
in
yeah.
a political talk and stuff. And he and I started talking, and I was asking him about his, and he was asking me about my history. And one of the things that he told me is, Travis, you need to raise your rates.
Mhm.
And I've been in this industry for a little while now at this point, and I'm like, I don't think so. The man told me, look, you need to raise your rates. People are going to pay for the quality of services you're going to provide. You keep this up going, and you're going to make good. And so that kind of propelled me to stop being quote unquote an employee of somebody, and I
Mhm.
started networking. And it it's weird how all these connections get made, and then next thing you know, I'm pretty much self-employed. I'm setting up my own schedule and getting where I need to go and getting it done.
Outstanding,
So
man. So we got a couple comments in here, and I agree with this one from Michael Vaudre. He said, "Shout out to your dad because what your dad told you, find something you like doing and get people to pay you for it, is what I told my kids. Like, so when I was growing up, they were telling us find something to do that people need, whether you
mhm.
enjoy it or not. Do something that people need, and then you can kind of just live for the weekend. You know, you can do what you like doing on the weekend. You know, pursue your hobbies on the weekend. And I love the fact that your dad was like, no, 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 find something that you like doing and figure out how to get people to pay you to do it because you know how they say if you love what you're doing you'll never work a day in your life. It's
Yeah.
that's huge advice, and I completely agree with your dad. um, Now we have a more critical question because this is
Okay.
something I've wondered as well. All right, Matt says, why is it whenever I build a new piece of equipment, I always have 4 bolts and 3 washers left over, even if I use the instructions? And that exact thing happens to me. I put something together, like it's a family joke. Whenever we put something together, we always end up with extra bolts. And my wife, she likes to worry. So she'll always be like, what do these bolts go to? This is, like, and to make it work, yeah, okay. So she's convinced that there's a missing bolt somewhere and that eventually something's just gonna break on us because I didn't put the bolts in there. But so why is there always extra bolts?
Okay. I'm gonna make an educated guess based off of I watch a lot of how-to TV shows and how it's made, that type of steel. And a lot of times, if you watch some of the packaging of certain products, they don't necessarily have a person there counting every bolt and every nut,
Mm.
every washer, every lock washer, every spacer. It's done by weight. Um,
Oh, okay.
so if you, let's say you take 100 pennies and you put them on a scale and you write down the measurement and you put it to the side and then you count another handful of pennies and you put it on the scale, it's going to be off a little bit.
Okay.
But if you actually count them, to make one, you got to add a penny to make it certain weight. So this is my educated guess, is that they don't actually count all the hardware
Mhm.
unless they have a hardware pack that says part step 1, and this is a hardware bag. Step 2, hardware bag. Step 54, hardware bag.
Right.
If it's all in one thing, a lot of times it's going to be. I want to assume it's going to be weight. So if it's for the bolt, it needs to be, let's just say, 2 pounds. Well, it's still under a pound, so they're going to drop another one. That's where you get your extra one, and it's going to put it over
Gotcha.
the 1 pound of. And that's just, like I said, an educated guess. But yeah, I'm always ending up with an extra screw, extra bolt, a
Yeah.
longer bolt. So it's not uncommon to have one or two. You know, but if you have like 6 or 7, I would worry. But
Okay.
also, I have also kind of realized that a lot of times when you have manufacturers that have multiple units that they're selling and they're all similar,
Mhm.
but the only difference between this unit and this unit, unit A and unit B, is they need 2 of these 3-inch bolts, and unit A only needs 1 of those 3-inch bolts. You're going to have an extra bolt. So it's kind of,
Gotcha.
I would say, also educated guess, not actually in the packaging part. But I would say that, this bolt kit covers multiple units, and that's how you end up with extras.
That actually makes a ton of sense, because what I thought was they give you extras because they assume you're going to drop one and lose it. And they're like, okay, you're going to lose some of them, so we'll just give you extras because we don't want you. Because then if you contact them and say, hey, you didn't send us enough bolts, you don't know that you dropped the bolt. And now they still have to send you the extra bolt anyway. Now they have to pay shipping again. So if I'm in their shoes, I'd rather just send you extra bolts off the top, and you can do whatever you want with the extra ones, than to not send you enough. And then I have to ship you extra, like I know, for example, Titan Fitness, they're always having to send out stuff that's missing or whatever. So I don't want to be in that position if I'm a manufacturer for Titan that just caught some shrapnel or wasn't even involved.
Most time it's thrown away when it's not used anymore.
That's right. Jared Martin, my man, what's up? Welcome, man. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. So do you have any crazy stories about installs that have gone wrong?
It's more along the lines of customer relations that it's gone wrong. Because you mentioned the water rower. Now the water rower, when it first came out, had a huge. When it first hit the street, it took off running. And of course, it didn't help that it came out just on the brisk of COVID starting, and there was a lot of people who wanted them, and it even got to the point where celebrities were wanting them. And they would give me a list of units, or they would say, hey, we've got 11 units that's fixing to ship out to your area. These are the areas that you want that they're going. And they would give a last name, an email, and location, the city name, and a zip code, and ask me if, which one of these would you want? And then I would say, give me these selected few, or this, give me these customers. And then we would reach out to the customers after we received them, get them assembled, because with Arigato, they want it ready to go. So it even shows up with water in it. So we would reach out to the customer via the email, but it would be, instead of, let's say we got 15 that we're delivering to, that's ready for delivery. We're not going to do 15 different emails. Because when Arigato first came out, I did 200 in the first quarter. So that's a lot of reaching out that had to be done. So we would, this group, we're going to deliver on this day. This is the availability. These are the people that's in the area. So it was just all you would really see is just the emails. And there wasn't anything directed to a specific person. You couldn't look at the email and see, oh, this is this person. So I had a couple of people that were irate that their privacy was being compromised. And believe me, I am a big believer in you keeping your privacy. But nothing was ever said that these two people were VIPs.
Okay,
and they were neighbors.
They were upset because the company told you about them?
No. So all we received is the customer's last name, their email, and the unit number.
Right.
And so we set up a route based off of zip codes, and we're going to be in this particular zip code to make everything more efficient.
Yeah.
And usually when there is a VIP, when it is a celebrity, they will identify this is VIP, and those ones we handle with kit gloves, like with you. And then,
thank you.
but they didn't identify who these people were, and apparently we had a New York bestseller author and because it caused issues, I don't want to give too much, but a very high profile puppeteer. But they got
like their address on social media. So what was it that was making them upset about?
Their email list was on the email chains of the additional people that we were delivering with.
Okay.
And so, and again, their privacy is, being a celebrity is very dangerous. So I understood, but they really accelerated or escalated the issue. I did not know who they were, but based on the email name, I didn't know who they were. Kind of like a discussion we were talking about earlier about my particular email. How do people find you? To me, I didn't associate. That was probably the worst situation that I was in as far as doing installs. The craziest I had is I had a warranty call that was a 2-hour drive just to put batteries into a console of a recumbent bike. The customer couldn't get it. The customer couldn't get it to start, couldn't get it to work. And it is one of the lower end store-bought type deal. It wasn't the higher end commercial residential. This was very much consumer, just above the big Blue W store. And they couldn't put it together. So warranty call had me, it was more like an hour and a half ride. And I'm looking at the unit. They gave me a new console. They thought the console was bad. And I said, so I went to take the batteries out of the existing console to put in the new one. I said, where are the batteries? And the customer's like, batteries? Yeah, there's 2 doors here, 2D, need 4D batteries. And
how do you even handle that without making them feel dumb? Like, yeah, it's
I've had enough mistakes in my life. I can empathize.
Okay.
And they were all like, "Oh, this is so stupid. This is so." I'm like, no. Because it did have an inclination toward an external power source, like a power cord going to the wall where it plugs in at the front. You do see the outlet, but that was an option that you had to buy after the fact. Gotcha. So sometimes the manufacturers don't put that information right up front where you can see it. It's kind of bottom of the box, bottom right-hand corner, next to the production date and all that, and the patent and all that. But that's probably about the craziest one I've ever done.
So you just did an installation for Force USA, which is a brand that's fairly well known in the home gym community. But you said that was your first time working with them. You didn't even know about them.
Right.
How was your experience working with Force USA from the standpoint of installing their equipment, putting it together? It was like, I think it was one of their G series, like Smith machine functional series things. But what was the experience
the G20.
like? Yeah, what was the experience like of assembling that piece of equipment?
That was for Miss Marilyn Kowalski. She's also a YouTuber, Instagrammer.
Nice. Okay.
I was really excited when I saw my equipment up there. She was doing a little bit of a short, and I'm like, hey, that's me, and I'm sharing it to everybody I know.
You said Marion Kowalski? She's on YouTube?
Marion Kowalski, yes.
Okay. I'll look her up.
She is, from the few things that I've seen, she is very, kind of along the lines of you, not necessarily so much on equipment, more or less on technique. But she, I got her through another job client, and the install was actually, to be totally honest, I was the third tech that showed up, or that they had contacted, or made contact. The first guy showed up, opened up the crate, because it actually came in wooden crates, not cardboard boxes. It came in 4 crates, two crates with the wooden crates with the actual parts, and then 2 crates with the weight stacks. And to tell you the truth, I was really impressed with how well it survived the shipping, because a lot of times these boxes I get, like for instance, Body Solid doing the EXM 3000. I've done hundreds of them. The boxes sometimes don't make transport. These crates, wooden crates, made transport fantastic. Not a whole lot of debris, styrofoam, not a whole lot of waste, but enough material to keep everything protected. The equipment was really solid. If you go into some of the consumer stores to buy this, like the Marcy Smith machine, the material, the walls and the material are thicker, so you don't need extra plates on the front and the back. Like I call them oversized washers, where you have to have a bolt through a plate and going through the beam and then into the part, and then have washers on the back of it. It is really solid equipment. I love the thickness of the material. Yes, it's a little heavier. Something this big. I did have my 14-year-old son help me. He is my future. I guess eventually I'm gonna have to change my name to Travis and Sons.
Yeah, there you go.
But he is adamant about getting involved. So on that picture right there, to your right, there's two little crates that are side by side. That's the weight. Yeah, right there. That is the weight stacks. So you do get the cross trainer type effect. I've always called them dual adjustable pulleys. So adapt. So you got your pulley system on the left and the right. So, and it does come with extra accessories. I don't think I included those on Facebook. It just, but on the to the left of that at the floor, you can see where there's some of the attachments for grabbing. They do have a lot of accessories. They had some new things that kind of are new to me things. Top right hand corner of that particular picture right there on the weight stack. There's a swing arm that comes out, and that's for like doing various grabs of pull-ups and attach.
Oh, you can hang a heavy bag right there.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that arm actually swings left to right, so it's actually on. If you're on the units to your left behind you, but that arm swings laterally around, so you can push it out of the way when you're not using it, and it does have multiple positions. So depending on the floor space that you have, depending on where the room is, you can, so that was the before and after. So, and I do believe she has then since the install has made some adjustments to her. Sure. That was her studio there. But she has then, but she's done a couple of videos where she's showing how certain aspects get used on.
Yeah. I found her as a Marilyn Kowalski. Yeah, I found her YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. And so the product, I mean, standalone. I mean, I think it's comparable to like the collegiate equipment of Life Fitness, the Dynamic Fitness, Legends.
Oh wow, you compare it to
so.
Legends. I mean, I know I think it's a good brand, but I mean, Legend is like heavy duty commercial. Okay.
Right. So like I said, I've been involved with the installation business since 2000. However, the sports, the fitness arena has been less than that, probably about 15 years. Gotcha. And so I'm still hearing new stuff. I mean, there's new product coming out all the time. I'm sure there are certain brands that I've worked on that some people hadn't heard of.
Sure.
But the first guy opened, like I said, like I was going back to my story, the first guy showed up, he opened up the crate and said, "No, this is too much," and shut it and walked away. And which is, I'm not going to say I don't get intimidated by jobs, but as long as the instructions are there, and of course, I've been in the industry long enough to know that if I look at this part and it's got these holes that go all the way up and down and it's chrome, it's going to be your selector, right? It's going to be where you adjust your pulley. I do know what weight plates look like. I know what the selector rod for the weight stack look like. I know what pulleys look like. So you kind of get a general idea. And then of course, if you have like I said, if you have the instructions, it is going to make it easier. It's like the old phrase, how do you eat elephant? One bite at a time. So you take step one, and sometimes the instructions on a lot of products are difficult. So this one was a little bit more along the lines of an exploded view. Okay. So it's not necessarily step one, step two, step three. And it's like, this is how you put the base. And it shows, 4 or 5 pieces. And then they have the line drawn where with the bolt numbers and the washer numbers and nut numbers. And it shows the lines going where it's supposed to go. You take your time and you get it put together and just double check. Yeah. Now, first one is always going to be your longest and your hardest. Depending on how soon you get to the second one of that particular unit or that particular model or that brand, you kind of remember, okay, I made this mistake before. This is what I had to do. And then you just kind of make sure you pay mind to where you made the mistakes before and you just don't do it again.
Well, let me ask
now
you
the curveball is going to be, go ahead.
Michael has a question. He wants to know about the Sports USA in particular. He wants to know if did you bolt that unit to the floor?
On this particular unit, no. Some units do, but with it being what I call a 6-leg, so there's actually 3 vertical braces, and then there's the counterweight is being held on with the weight storage that comes from the back. I know you recently did a video where you kind of did a review about weight storage.
Yeah.
Their weight placement is in the back,
Yeah.
going toward the back, so it kind of acts as a counterweight. So I don't think you have to worry about tipping over. But this particular unit, no, I did not. And I don't even think they have mounting holes. I don't recall mounting holes to be anchored to the floor.
That's actually more. First of all, shout out to you for watching my videos. All right, you just became a play cousin. Let me write that down. You're a play cousin now. Right, and that's important information. That gets you into the barbecue and the family cookouts. All right,
awesome.
So I'll send you a little card. You can just show it when you get to the cookout.
Well, keep in mind, Southern Baptist, when we meet, we eat.
Hey, you dang right. All right, amen in Jesus' name. All right, but that is interesting to me that the G20 doesn't have. I mean, yeah, from what you remember, that it doesn't have holes to bolt to the floor, because that's something that you hear all the time, because you don't want the unit to tip forward. You know, like if you're squatting heavy and you're squatting outside the rack, then you put your, I don't know, and for some racks, it doesn't even take much. It could be something as light as 400 pounds, and you rack the weight, and then it all starts to come towards you. You're like, oh, this is about to go bad, you know? So I'm surprised that they don't have the holes to bolt to the floor, or maybe they have like the mounting thing. I don't want to go on their website right now, but maybe they have like a thing to attach the feet that go in the front that are like stabilizers or something like that. Because I wouldn't be interested in having something tip forward on me after a set.
Well, especially if you've got kids that run around while you're in the gym with you, that could be a problem. Again, it was the only unit that I've done, so I wasn't paying, and there was no discussion about anchoring it to the ground. So I didn't pay mind to see. Now, there are a lot of other equipment out there that do have the pre-located holes for you to be able to, if it's in concrete, anchor it down with the wedge anchors, concrete anchors, and what have you. Other products, so if you're going to be on, like, let's say, some things I don't understand why. I was even at a college with this where they had the gym on the second floor, and they were doing free weights on the second floor. And
that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially not for college students. Because
I was in their PT room making a repair on a piece of medical equipment, and it was a hydroculator. It's the weighted water heated water bags. So I was repairing the heater on it, and I would hear the slamming, and the lights would flicker. And it's like, great. I'm feeling like I'm on Jurassic Park when the Tyrannosaurus Rex is walking through. Some people want their equipment on the second floor in their bedroom, and it's just the ease of getting up out of bed, getting their morning routine going, and then getting on that, and then continuing on with the day. And I get it. It's better than being having their equipment, in a harder place to get to where you don't have outside access to the basement. And you've got a big old box that's got to go down
every basement has
the
that
spiral
dog
staircase.
leg. Yeah, I'm about to say every single basement has that awkward little turn, and you're just like, how am I supposed to get this downstairs there? That's one of my main reasons why I'm glad I live in Georgia, so we don't have to have, we have basements here, as you know, but you don't have to have, the basement. And even if you did, you're going to have outside access to the basement. Because for me, my garage is like the best thing. I just roll up the doors and go straight in. I cannot imagine putting myself through anything where I got to get a power, especially as often as I have to move power racks in and out.
Right.
I would hate being in a situation where it's difficult to get a power rack in.
Well, here's something I recently found out, and I thought it was kind of odd. I've lived in my neighborhood for about 15 years, and I was just kind of looking around the neighborhood a little bit from my front porch, and I noticed my front neighbor across the street from me, the garage door opened up, and he pulled a car out. I didn't know you were supposed to put cars in there.
Yeah, nah. They come with a roof for a reason. Let's see here. So let me ask you this. So first of all, Matt says free weights on the second floor is crazy. So like, I'm not gonna deadlift 500 plus pounds on the second floor of any building. Heck yeah. He said I don't. He said I don't trust that I'll end up finishing my set in the basement. Heck yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know. I just don't know about that, man. How do you normally get your contracts to get installations? You said that you get the email. So are you basically
All right,
like doing
so
the contact list for companies and is it always the company that contacts you? Or let's say a brand sends me a piece of equipment to review, right? And I'm just like, I don't feel like putting this together. Can I just call you and say, hey man, come put this thing together? Like, how do you normally get your contracts?
well, it's kind of a thing of how it is evolved, how the job, how my career evolved.
Okay.
It started out being a employee of an assembly company that was taking care of consumer products within the stores, making sure that the bicycles were assembled, making sure that the displays were taken care of for the fitness equipment on the sales floor. And then it got into where I had a truck, so I started delivering. Um, and then, and this is kind of general, quick term. Like I said, I'm long-winded. Um, and then then it got to the point where I was a subcontractor, and because I have a skill set and they have limited job base or job flow, I found other people that were more or less contractors. So the way it is like one of my clients, they have Absolute does a lot of the collegiate and high school stuff. So they put in the scoreboards, the stadiums, and stuff like that, as well as the locker rooms and the football fitness equipment. And so it got into that. And then I have another client that I inadvertently made contact with directly with National Service Corporation, which they will have their online stores. So you go on to um, fitnesswarehouse.com and they have a contact with somebody that provides the service with National Services Corporation. And then they'll send me the work for the local areas. I make the joke, I go where the money is. So I do break the Georgia border. So I have been in Mississippi. I have been in Kentucky. The one in Kentucky was awesome. I have been in, the Carolinas. I've been to Florida. And it's like the one that you just showed where it was the fitness equipment in the Orange Room. That was actually a high school in Florida.
Right?
That was a high school in the Panhandle of Florida. This was at a person's home.
Okay.
That one, I had to go down that hill, down and around to the back.
I know I'm old because I just said, oh, they got some good grass.
Yeah. And we had to put
grass right there.
Now we just had 2 days of rain prior to me doing that, so that grass was slick. We had to go and get plywood, and I drilled holes and knocked, to get it down the hill so we didn't slip on the wet grass, because some of that equipment comes together pre-assembled, and those are monsters of pieces of equipment. And so, but when I first started, I did have I actually paid to have my stuff on Facebook advertised. I put a price limit, and I was getting a lot of feedback from Facebook. I was also getting some stuff using like a service provider, customer driven, like Thumbtack and and Angie's List, that type of stuff. And I was getting work that way. And then it also being word of mouth. Word of mouth is huge. This guy does this, your equipment is working. So obviously he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I need my stuff done. So can I get his number? And that's how it started. And then COVID hit. And I'm going to tell you, not to be the capitalistic jerk, I think I was one of the few people that benefited as far as the job goes, because people were stuck at home. They like you said, couldn't get to the gyms.
Oh, yeah.
And so
the Amazon delivery drivers and FedEx delivery drivers, man, they I remember it's like, oh, there's no jobs. And I'm like, really? If you're a delivery driver, you're in demand. If you're not a delivery driver and you need work, become a delivery driver because they'll deliver food. I mean, anything you could think of. So stuff was like showing up. I mean, they were ordering stuff every day because they're bored. Plus, they're getting COVID checks. So I can imagine that somebody like you, like, hey, put this thing together. I don't even know what this is that we just ordered, you know? So yeah.
And one of my clients was they were a corporate executive moving company, service provider.
Oh,
So let's just say that your company wanted to move you from here to the other side of the world.
right.
I would come in and I would dismantle your fitness equipment.
Okay.
And I would label everything the way it's supposed to be. And if the customer provided me with instructions, or if I know enough of the information ahead of time, I can print them off. And then I would make sure that stuff was in with the equipment. And then I was also the guy on the other end that whenever you were moving to Georgia, I was putting your equipment together.
Nice.
And that's so sometimes, like I said, I do enough of the equipment. I didn't always need instructions for what part went where. It's just what hardware did what. I mean, if you got a bolt that's sticking out 3 inches, obviously it's too long. If it's sticking out a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, it's close.
It's probably in the right place.
If the nut can't even grab, it's too short.
yeah. I got you. What Michael wants to know, what's the geographical area you service? Because I know you cross the state line, but how far away is too far? Like,
Okay,
for example, Ashton
it's
is
going
in
to
North
be.
Carolina.
Well, it all depends on. In all reality, it all depends on the money. I'm not going to drive 3 hours to Tennessee for $100. Sorry. Will I go to Kentucky for $1,000?
Well, I mean, you have a crew of people under you too. You have to be able to pay them.
Well, this last year the economy got a little rough, and one thing that happens is when the economy gets tight, everybody starts holding back on their money. A lot of the luxuries start going away. I do more repairs than I do installs. They're trying to keep the existing equipment going, and so the new stuff, and even I'm noticing this from my clients that are sending me the work, it's getting slow. And so, like, for instance, between October and Christmas of last year, I'm down to maybe a couple of part-time helpers.
Okay.
Because they had to go and get what I call real jobs, the 9 to 5, they clock in, clock out type deal, versus getting this stuff done. And I lost some good help. I don't blame them. I'm, better yourself, go for it, take care of you. But as far as the jobs go, as long as the money is worth the drive. Now the joke around here, it takes an hour to get to Atlanta from Atlanta. I've seen a lot of the videos, 285, if somebody spits out the window, it shuts it down. They think it's raining. So, my father is from Indiana. And he says, why does it take 30 minutes to go 2 miles around here? And he's ready to go back home after about 24 hours here. But as far as answering the question, there's not necessarily too far. It's not enough money.
Right. It just doesn't make sense.
So the one in Florida paid me enough for me and 2 other helpers, plus hotel room, drive down there. And the picture that you showed with the orange walls, there was actually a red walls. That it compensated, for being down there for 3 people. We went down the night before, got up the following morning, met the truck, unloaded the truck, and got that together all within 8 hours. And so there's one of the companies.
Because you like I said, I mentioned that you did the Georgia, the UGA football facility. You put that hyperbaric chamber in there. When you do your installations, do you also remove the old equipment? Because that wasn't their first one. They had another one before.
Right. They were adding to their services. They went from a single man TP type to the thing that looks like a pill.
I know what they use over there. Okay.
And and those things and those are awesome. Someone that's asthmatic, those things are awesome. But I mean, just in general,
I'm 5'9". If you're going to go to a school, and
Right.
let's say you're installing their new weight room, are you also responsible for getting rid of the old weight room equipment, or do they do that a different way? Because that's where people like me, I've had a home gym since 2001, and that's where we used to get our home gym equipment. We'd wait till the school was upgrading, and we'd buy it off of Craigslist or the newspaper, kids. That's right. We actually opened the newspaper and looked in the classifieds and got used equipment out of there. So do you have to get rid of the old equipment?
Not always. If I'm told ahead of time, I do discuss that simply because of the fact that sometimes, okay, so if I'm putting this together, I'm going to have this much trash, and part of the deal is sometimes I take off the debris with me. But if the old equipment's coming with me, I have to make sure I have enough room because I show up with a pickup and a flatbed trailer.
Okay.
And so I have to be prepared. And sometimes that gets discussed after they're on site, and I'm like, okay, so where am I putting it? Well, you're going to put it here where this other piece is. Well, who's responsible for that? We were hoping you can handle it. Well, then that creates a discussion of additional fees. Now, if you just want it moved across the room or slid over 10, 15 feet, that's one thing. But if you wanted to extract it off the site, that is a separate charge. That is a separate fee. I mean, you're paying me to take these things down.
Old gym equipment, you could just sell it.
Well, that's part of the deal too. Sometimes I do. I have, but not every. There's a reason why they update equipment. Sometimes it's not as good. Like for instance, there was a major phone company, a cell phone company here that had a corporate gym in their office or an executive gym in their office, and they had 6 treadmills. Well, there was a reason why they were getting 6 new ones. Of the 6, I was able to make 2 of them work. I robbed from Peter to pay Paul, and then the rest of them just got scrapped.
Gotcha.
And then and this life fitness, heavy equipment, took 2 trips and a rental of a 1/4 ton or 1/2 ton pickup truck from Home Depot to get these removed off site. So sometimes it's, depending on the equipment, sometimes it's just easier just to landfill, unfortunately. Some things if you gotta weigh out, okay, if I take it to a scrap yard, they're going to take off X amount because of all the plastics and the wood that's on there. So sometimes you want to be responsible with the waste. I do try to separate my cardboard from the debris and stuff like that. And I try to be responsible. I mean, no, I'm not a tree hugger, but I don't want to kill baby seals either. So some things you got to look at the money. So I mean, sometimes you can extract things, and I do make resales. A while back, there was a big run of these max trainers, these Bowflex max trainers.
Yeah.
And they're telling you a 12 to 15-minute workout. For a fat man, yes, that I couldn't be on there 5 minutes and I was burning up. I mean, my arms were hurting, my legs were hurting. And so, but after a while, I've noticed that there was repairs going on and people was getting just flat out ellipticals, and I was taking off the max trainers. And some of them could be resold. Some of them couldn't. So that's just, I mean, equipment, if you know what you're doing and you have the capabilities, there's a lot of times you can resell, but generally I'm banking that I'm not going to be able to. So it's going to cost me gas money to drive it to where I'm going to get it to. It's going to cost me time and effort, labor to get it out, especially depending on where you want it. If I had to come downhill to your basement to put in a treadmill, I'm taking an equally amount heavy thing up a hill, I mean, look at your yard. You had a slight incline. Imagine trying to walk backwards up that hill, and it's not that big of.
I can just remember it.
Okay, so I mean that burns. I mean, granted, I get my workout whenever I am working. However, the only real muscle I work out is my table muscle.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
You were like,
so
an outstanding opportunity for my apprentice to get stronger. All right.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah. But no, when I am working with helpers, I'm always taking the heavy side of things, or I'm trying to, because I don't want somebody else getting hurt, and I know
Nah,
you
I
can
got
get hurt. And so, and some of the, I mean, I've had situations where I've actually had to back out. I mean, I do put in the due diligence. You've heard of the Xterra arc trainers, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of like the highly technical version of the Gazelle. You know, it's that motion where kind of like a precursor to the elliptical, but they
It
had
looks
that
like
big
the
weight.
sort of thing that they sell on late night TV.
Right.
The
And
old people don't
so,
know better. Yeah.
but the thing is the customer bought one used. It came in on freight truck and was delivered to their garage, and they wanted it in the house. I took off everything I could, and I still couldn't get it through the door. It was too heavy to flip it like a couch and rotate it around to angle it in. I mean, the only thing I could have done to make it work is get a skill saw, cut the door out, and then get it in and then pay somebody to put the door in.
Yeah.
But there's just some things that you're just going to have to cut bait on. And unfortunately, they had to leave it in the garage. And it was more or less a carport, so they didn't even have a door to keep it out of the weather.
Oh, God.
So I don't even know and that was a couple of years ago, so don't even know what happened with that.
Right.
Other than I'm sorry. And I felt bad. I do not like incompleted projects. I do not.
Right.
I don't like failure, but sometimes you just got to say,
Gotta know when
this
to
beat
fold
me.
them. Gotta know when to walk away, Travis.
Uh-huh.
The great prophet Kenny
And
Rogers told us that.
yep. Yep.
Travis, this was an awesome conversation. I'm definitely gonna have you back on. But in the meantime, because I did mention whether or not, people hiring you or whatever, how can somebody get in touch with you? And I've got the little banner here for people to follow you on Facebook. Is that the best way for them to reach out to you if they want to hire you?
The best way and easiest way, is to reach. You can Facebook message. I've gotten to the point where my workday and my schedule had me late at night working, and then get on the computer to answer things. I have then since my wife, due to COVID reactions, started working with me, and so she handles the digital, the emails, and stuff like that. So she's watching the Facebook Messenger for people requesting work done. So I am not big. I don't have a big social footprint. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Facebook.
You're on LinkedIn as Travis Vinson?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And
all right.
and so we can get those are set up to have alerts. So and then I also have my email in there. Yes, it's an unassociated email. It's tbirdowner86@yahoo.com.
We're trying to fix that for you right now, Travis.
So that is my email. If you want a faster response, that is always put fitness equipment install if that's what it is. As far as the area goes, the bigger the equipment, I will go there. The smaller the equipment, the price isn't going to merit me crossing state lines or getting to the area. My main area is the Atlanta area, anywhere from Macon to Cumming. Bremen to Conyers is my main area, but I have been out. I do go out to Athens a lot. I've been down to Columbus, Georgia a lot. I've been to, yes, I even go on to military bases for those that are on bases that need help. As a matter of fact, I just recently got finished working in Fort Campbell, putting in beaver fit equipment. Yeah, beaver fit equipment. That's if you're somebody that wants to set up a company, I think that might be a good idea. It's a fitness equipment that comes in on a Connex container.
Yeah.
The shipping containers.
Yeah.
And then everything gets shipped inside, and then they got shelves and racks and stuff for you to store your equipment. And then the outside they have, like, for instance, your Smith machine type things that get bolted to the side that stay attached. They got rope climbers and stuff like that. But right now it's a big rollout with the military bases where we're doing a lot. And so the individual units are getting their PT stuff in. So if you're a follower and you're in the military, talk to your CO or NCO about funding. If they have enough fundings to get that stuff. I know there's a huge rollout with a new model that they're trying to get taken care of. So talk to them, and then you'll see me on the site, hopefully.
Nice. Well, Travis, man, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, this was awesome. I'm glad that one of the places that you work is Dallas, Georgia, because that's how we ended up meeting. And
Yep.
I'm definitely going to hit you up for more, to come back on, and we're going to get you. Don't worry, if you're watching this, have no fear. We're going to get Travis's website and all that kind of stuff going. All right, I'm going to.
I just might have to do that now.
All right, I'm going to intervene because I think this is important. I think we got one more. My guy Carp's Gym. Hey, Coach Carp just jumped in here. Carp, you were just in time to say goodbye to Travis. That's what you get for being late. But hey, you know what? I'm always glad to have you here, man. I know you got like work stuff going on, so I appreciate
Not a problem. We can do this again.
Heck yeah, man.
We can talk about some things off site.
Yeah, I'll be texting you. See if we can do some stuff to work together. So I appreciate you being here, man. And
not a problem.
How you doing to your lovely wife? All right.
I will.
All right, my man. You have a good day, Travis. All right.
You too.
All right, that was my guy Travis Vinson, Travis's Assembly Services. I like I said, I like to bring people on who you don't necessarily know, because they've got a lot of times that you see he's got like all these cool stories, and he's got a wealth of information, but he's doesn't have a social media presence. So for those of us who are in, I guess, this space, we're not necessarily going to have him on our radar. But I think it was well worthwhile having him on here. And the next time I bring him on, I also want to bring him on so that I could establish some authority, so you guys know he knows what he's talking about. But I'm thinking about bringing him on to answer questions. So like, if you guys have questions, let's say you're putting something together and you're like, man, I can't figure this out. I want to make Travis available for Q&A type stuff. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, let me know, because I can definitely make that happen. All right, we're going to be bringing Ashton on from Freedom Fitness Equipment in a little bit, but let's go ahead and let's jump right into, I got a couple of minutes, and I'm going to give my shout out to the Mountain Time Zone. So appreciate you guys for being here. Welcome to the Way Too Early for a Friday morning show. As always, hit like and subscribe. And if you've been watching for the last 2 hours and you haven't hit like and subscribe, this is your opportunity. It is never too late to hit like and subscribe. In fact, open up a dummy YouTube account and like and subscribe with that one too, because we got to get me to 50,000 subscribers. All right. And the thing though is that when you like shows like this and you subscribe, it helps you out too, because it tells YouTube that this is the sort of content that you want to see on the YouTube platform. So it's going to sort of like educate the algorithm on your behalf, and it'll pay off, because then you're going to see more of what you want to see and less of what you're not interested in. So once again, hit like, hit subscribe, and please share this video with somebody else. We're going to be bringing Ashton on now, because he's got an announcement, and I quite frankly cannot wait any longer to tell you guys about it. And Carp, I'm glad that you checked in, because this is something that may be of interest to you. So everybody, welcome in my man, Ashton. What's up?
How you doing, John?
Man, I'm doing great. I like, especially because I see what's over your left shoulder.
You know.
Look at that. Yeah. All right. Look at you. Look at you being one of the cool kids. All right. Man, look at you. Look at this. Y'all see his headline? He's like, look, I'm not even going to wait for you to tell people how to get in touch with me. He just put his phone number, recklessly put his phone number right there. Anybody on earth could call him. You know, he doesn't care. Ashton's a loose cannon. Man, I'm so excited about doing this, because as I was telling you, when I sent you like the preliminary questions and stuff, it feels to me like this is something that's going to work out for both you and I, hopefully. And I think I love the fact that we're doing this, because it's really an easy way for me to help you get more website traffic, which is a goal for me. And then it also takes a couple of burdens out of my hands. It stops me from doing the stuff I'm not good at. Lets me focus on what I am good at. So let's not make people wait any longer. Go ahead, tell everybody what we're doing.
Yeah, man. So as you can see, we've got John's awesome banner behind me, the Garage Gym Life banner. It's beefy. It's awesome. And so John and I have collaborated to bring this to our e-commerce platform. And what that means is we're offering his banners on our website now. So John doesn't have to spin up his own website. We're offering those directly on freedomfitnessequipment.com. If you use his link, he'll get credit for the sale. And then we ship these out directly from our warehouse. This was perfect because I had been looking for apparel accessories, something like this for a long time to offer at our store. When I first started, I had t-shirts and something basic, and it didn't sell. It was just not something that we were good at or I even knew how to market. But John has the brand equity to put behind this, and I love these banners. So we're now offering them on our website at freedomfitnessequipment.com. And this is a collaboration, a really awesome banner, something that you can use to spruce up your gym, commercial facility, whatever. And you can basically add this as part of an additional package of equipment, just to kind of liven things up a bit. But I freaking love these. These are really high quality banner. And we're now offering, like I said, we're now offering on the website as a collab, and I'm hoping to honestly maybe do some more of this in the future. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it seems like, so this is our second official collaboration, because I remember when we were talking about, I brought up I was looking for sponsors for my podcast, and you said, "Oh, I've been looking for a podcast to sponsor," and and it worked out. So that's how our Freedom Fitness became a sponsor of actually the only sponsor of our morning show. And then when the banner thing came up, I was like, look, I just don't, people ask me fairly often, actually, how can I get one of those banners? You know what I mean? Like, because they'll see it on the wall in my gym or whatever. Oh, and sometimes they'll ask somebody else. So like Carlos has one. He says it looks great on his wall. He's actually got two of our banners. He's got two of our banner designs. And the thing that I was running into when I was hosting it on my website is, and probably nobody watching is going to care about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, is the shipping thing.
Yeah.
So you have to, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to offer shipping. Well, even to offer shipping, not free shipping or anything else, I've got to know like what the postal rates are to multiple places, and that's just a headache. It's not that it's not doable, but it takes me away from what I am supposed to be doing, what people come to me for. They come to me for content. They want to see equipment reviews, they want to see interviews. They don't want to see me turn into a store. You know what I mean? And then also, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm competing against the brands that I'm asking to come on.
Yep.
There's a reason why, just some names off the top of my head. So there's a reason why you don't see like Rep Fitness interviewing somebody from Kabuki on their YouTube channel. And so I want to make sure that I'm not doing anything that's going to limit me from being able to accomplish my primary purpose, fulfilling my primary mission. And so having you at the same time, though, people, like I said, people asking me for it. I'm like, well, how do I do that? Recently, the only way I've been able to sell them is if I go somewhere and I just have like a tube of banners and I sell them like right there on site. But that's just not practical. And I just thought it was a great opportunity. Like I said, there's synergy there.
Yep. And these are, John, these are really easy for us because the nice thing about our platform and our e-commerce capability is this is just an additional product as part of what we sell. The fulfillment is very, very easy. We've already got all of the settings pre-built into our platform that way. And by the way, no matter if it's local, national, or international, we can ship it anywhere and get these out. But I just hand that, order to our warehouse guys, and they know exactly what to do. So this made perfect sense for us from a fulfillment standpoint. It's a cinch.
Heck yeah. And then the other thing too is, I mean, I've got other designs. We've talked about if this works. So kind of this is like a trial balloon.
Yeah.
So if this works, then this is also going to be how we'll like do the t-shirts. I'm not wearing it right now, but well, this is one of my t-shirt designs. But like the stacking days shirt is really popular, and it's like, okay, I don't want to store a bunch of t-shirts in my basement, in my garage or whatever, and it's an easier way for me to do that, especially the harder to stock sizes. So anything that's over 3x is tough to hang on to. I'm sorry. So for our demographic, people want over 3x. But if you get it, as soon as you get it and you have it in stock, that's exactly when nobody's going to want one. And now you're hanging on to these big shirts that you can't do anything with forever. Then as soon as you get rid of them, all the 3X people will say, hey, you got those in 3X? So it's just easier for me to, like I said, hand over that kind of thing to somebody who I also trust is going to take care of the people who are placing the orders. So I know this sounds like a long infomercial, but I also wanted to have you come on to talk about it because you, like I said, it's a trial balloon. You want to open this up to more than just me. So talk about what your ultimate goal is with this sort of collaboration that, for other content creators.
We'd like to have more merch like this. I want to do more collabs. We'll talk about this later, but I've done like a rack collab with like Black Widow. But I want to do something that doesn't necessarily overlap with our main product line, like the used and new gym equipment, but kind of fills the gap where I have gaps. So particularly like in the accessory apparel, that kind of space, because I just don't have outlets for really good stuff that is really appealing to people. So this fills that gap. Other accessories would fill that gap, and it's just not something we really have. If you go look at that section of the website, it's just really not something we have a lot of stuff in. So my goal is to collab with as many creators as we can. That makes sense, obviously. It helps drive traffic to the website, but I also like being able to support other creators who are doing really good work, like you. Like, my goodness, a morning show for hours and hours in the morning on a Friday morning every single week is absolutely insane and awesome. And I want to like reward and support hardworking content creators and reviewers like yourself, so that you can get more attention and notice, and also have some really cool product that you can distribute to get your name out into more of the home gym community. So I like this kind of stuff because it's with people I know and love. And it just adds. It's almost like a little bit of an upsell with some of the products that we already offer, and it makes total sense. Like, okay, you're buying squat rack, why not buy a banner along with it?
Yeah, you can just have it as like the shopping cart. Hey, this also, you might also like that kind of stuff. Yeah, makes sense. Like, so when I was when we were talking about it initially, like weeks ago, the person I actually thought of, besides me, as soon as you said, yeah, I'd love to do this with other people, was actually Carp.
Yeah.
Because at Home Gym Con, I made him hand deliver my t-shirt, because I'm demanding like that. I'm needy. I'm a diva, right? But I was like, how cool would it be if he didn't have to do that? If he didn't have to handle fulfillment?
Yeah.
He could just say, okay, I've got this. I'll ship 100 of them to Ashton in whatever sizes make the most sense for him. And then you can handle it. And then he just sends people to the website, and boom, now people in, I don't know, Finland have Carp's Gym t-shirts, and it's just easy. You know what I mean? I think that's a win-win. Or so Matthew Porter, I know he's got the thing that he's working on with Bells of Steel, but that doesn't stop him from having his stuff in stock. Any products he has, that doesn't stop him from having his stuff in stock on your website as well, and it's still a collaboration. Every one of us has like some weird little idea that we don't have the distribution mechanism in place for, right? So like, I'm not interested in opening up an Etsy shop for any of the little stuff I think of. I'm like, hey, no, let's send it to Ashton, because again, that goes back to you. We're getting, somebody might show up at your site looking for Garage Gym Life banner, and then see all the other stuff you have and say, oh, hey, why don't I get that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just think it's a win-win. So for people who are watching this, like Carp, I know that you checked in. I don't know if he's still able to be on here or if he's going to be watching. I know he's going to watch on the replay. So I want to make sure we get all the information. If somebody's got an idea like that, you want them to just text you that on this phone number that you recklessly put up here. Okay. All right, so go ahead. Send if you have a village in Pakistan that makes all the great sporting equipments, go ahead and text that number. You know, God. I know you get those too.
There you go. Oh yeah, we get all sorts of requests all the time. You can either text or email me. I've got it's on our website as well. I've got my email address or a contact form. So if people want to do a collab like this and it makes sense, just reach out to me. Be glad to talk about it.
Yeah, it's I mean, I just think it's a good thing, and I think we just got a comment from Carp. Yeah, so Carp said, "Big Ashton, he's helping me with a shipping need." All right, so whatever you're importing, hope it's not illicit, and if it is, don't tell me. All right, I want to be able to say, "Hey, I can't come to court for the subpoena. I don't know. Hey, I'm not going to be of any use because I don't have any information. I got to work that day. I can't help you."
I was actually helping him with a strongman log actually that he got here locally. So yeah.
I mean, well, I know I'm a big fan of that side of your business too, because it's like, you know, my forever in between rack. You know, I got that from you. That's actually off getting painted as we speak right now. But it's gonna come back home soon. I want to talk a little bit about the banner since I do have it. Because we do have, I mean, like Carlos said, he's got one, and you know, it looks great on his wall and all that. But this is not a one is not a poster, and so you know, it's on sale for I think you got it on your website for what, $50?
Yep,
something like that. Let me show everybody what it looks like on the website. Under the accessories tab, right there. Look at that. So yeah, so you've got it there, and actually, I believe that is the illustrious, legendary Carp's gym right there, where the banner is hanging. And I do appreciate everybody who sent me, in case y'all are wondering why I asked you to send me pictures. Now you know. So we wanted some photos that we could put up on the website of what the banner looks like in the wild. We got multiple pictures. And also, this is also why I wanted reviews from you guys. I know you guys got your banners prior to this, so you can't comment on like the shipping and the customer experience, but you can talk about the banner itself. And that's why I wanted to put some reviews for anybody who wasn't familiar with it. But from your perspective, because you've touched a lot of products, you know, from your perspective, how can you reassure somebody who's just seeing this thing online that they're getting something that's worth their hard-earned money?
I want to pull one out real quick because I want to show you. I think this is important. So first, the thing that I noticed is it's reinforced everywhere that's important. So right around the grommets, you've got this edge piece here that's all the way around the banner, which is where it would rip or tear normally. So if you're trying to tear this thing by hand, if you really wanted to, you would start at the top and try to tear the way down. Because it's reinforced all around the edge, that ain't gonna happen. Also, this is super heavy duty. What is it, nylon or material that isn't going anywhere and is UV resistant. So, you should be able to put this out in the sun without any problems too, if you happen to have something outdoors.
Actually, so I can confirm that.
Yeah.
So that banner, they were 2x2, then they were 3x3, and now they're 2x3, right? But it's always the same material. And so they're banners that are outdoors, that have been outdoors since like 2018.
Wow.
They still look the same. I mean, legitimately outdoors, no cover. I'm trying to get those pictures or whatever, but they look the same. Matt's got one. I don't know if Matt's still on, but Matt's got one in the UK inside his shed. And there's definitely not any like climate control in the shed. So it deals with humidity just fine. The UV protectant is on there for that reason, so that it looks good, even if it's going to be outside for a while. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say the colors on this are vibrant. So often what you have issues with, especially whether it's apparel or banners, is if you create something online, the color scheme is not always going to be the same. It might be lighter or darker than what you put in online. These are really good solid colors that stand out, and it's not like it's faded or anything. Usually if you put some sort of coating over this, it looks a little odd. That's not the case with this. And I think that's probably because of some of the lamination, but like really sharp looking banner that's crystal clear and great color scheme too. So I love this. Material is like super crazy heavy duty. I don't think I've got like flags and stuff up in my gym, and it's not even close to this kind of material. It's like a really flimsy, like not at all like this. So this is unreal.
So shout out to Carlos. Like I said, he's actually got two of our banners, two different designs. He's got that garage like one, and then he's got the other one, the next one that I said we can jump to. If this works out, then he's got the best gym in town banner as well. And he said that's some great quality material in the banner. His is inside his apartment, but he said it still looks brand new. And that was something that was important to me as a home gym owner because, number one, I'm accustomed to buying stuff and it shows up and it doesn't quite look as well. It doesn't look as good as it did in the picture, right?
Yeah.
You're like, how come, why does this color look so faded? And I just got it. And then the other thing for me was a lot of people were talking about flags. Again, I've had a home gym since 2001, okay? So I've seen a lot of different iterations of things you can hang. And I mean, when I first started, we were cutting pictures out of magazines and hanging them on our wall, okay? Just to give you guys an idea or whatever. You ever see somebody who's got an old home gym, you can tell if it's an older home gym because they've got pictures cut out from magazines on the wall. We use that for motivation. And I remember when flags started coming out, and it seemed like a great idea. But the reason why I said, no, that's not good is because I have a garage gym. So I roll the doors up, and I notice that if you have a flag, well, it's always flapping. The flag, and what happens with flags when they're always blowing in the wind, right? You ever see a flag that's been out in the elements, like an American flag, for a long time? It starts to tear because the wind yanks it multiple directions. The colors fade, and there's not much you can do to a flag to keep the colors from fading. So that's why I went with banners, because I want it to be able to look good no matter where you have it. I want it to look good, and I want it to look good, because some people like their home gym is their business, right? Maybe they're a coach or something like that. I want it to be something like when your clients walk in, they're not like, what is this thing on the wall? You know what I mean? Looks like, what did your kids draw that, So I want it to look like something that that would fit with anybody's decor and still look good. In fact, I used to have one before I got this wooden sign that I have behind me. I had one behind me, and you're like, when we do live streams, that was behind me, right? And it's like, it's got to look good as the backdrop on a live stream because I want it to look professional. And so I'm basically I wanted to give people what I would want to have, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if somebody's watching this, I know what they care about, and that is, what's the ordering process? How painful is that? So talk about just the process of ordering. And I mean, you can talk about, ordering anything from your website. Like, how long does it take for stuff to get to them if they order something today?
So we do have a shipping terms and conditions section, which is a little bit long. So I'll just summarize it here. 2 to 3 business days max is when we ship everything out. Occasionally we'll be caught left-footed and it'll be like 1 extra day, but that's usually the max time. Sometimes if you get lucky, we actually ship it out the same day, and that applies to pretty much any piece of equipment across the board, not just the flags. Shipping transit times are different. We usually do UPS for these kinds of shipments. If you're international, that's going to be a whole nother ball game. I'll be honest, this is the first time that we've ever done a international shipment of a small package item like this. So I'm not sure. I've listened to the Massonomics guys, for example, talk about shipping their apparel overseas, and I know it just takes forever. So if you guys do order internationally, just be patient with me. I'll try to get it out as soon as I can, but it might take a while to get to you, and that's okay. It'll arrive well packaged, but locally, I mean, it should be no longer than a week max to get to. UPS ground is usually pretty good, and I've had instances where it travels multiple states over in a day. So normally, once it's out, it's going to get in your hands pretty quick. But our shipping process and ordering process is very easy. Add to cart, check out. You make sure you use John's link. So just click on that, add it to your cart. There'll be a little code that gets added, so he gets credit.
That's Gym in Town. Use it everywhere, just in case. Any website you go on, put it in there just in case.
Exactly. And then once you're done, you'll get an order confirmation, and then as soon as tracking is added, you'll get that. So super streamlined, slick process. We try to make it as easy as possible. We used to have a checkout process that was a lot more involved, but now it's just one page, so very easy.
You guys accept Shop Pay? I think you do.
Yeah, Shop Pay, Google, Apple Pay, PayPal, about a zillion other different payment methods. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you said that your ultimate goal, and this is really why I keep saying I'm excited, because I'm not looking at what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at the dirt, and that covers up the seed. I'm looking, in my head, I see a tree, right? And really I see an orchard. So you said the ultimate goal is to make part of your booth space at Home Gym Con next year available, because next year you're going to be going as a vendor, not just as a content creator, which is what you did last year or this past Home Gym Con. So you're opening up your booth space so that small vendors who may not have the funding to have a big booth can share booth space with you, well, within reason, so are you going to use this as a tryout for people who may want to do that? Or, I mean, I'm assuming, somebody's already got like significant following or whatever, maybe not, but what's your goal? Like, how do you see that working, next year at Home Gym Con?
So, not necessarily with, these kind of collabs, although I guess that could be a trial balloon, for Home Gym Con, but I'm open to either content creators or just smaller manufacturers coming on board and kind of partnering with us. And it could be something that we could distribute, like some of the plate and snacks product. I've talked to him about that just for a bit. Or it could just be a content creator that's just trying to get started in this space, or just starting out and has something to offer that's really cool and unique that makes sense to have with our booth. I'm trying to work with folks that can kind of, like with this banner, that makes sense with our existing product line. But I'm open to smaller guys who are just trying to get their foot in the door with the home gym community that people haven't heard of before, that may or may not, that maybe want to present at Home Gym Con, but like you said, just don't have the funding. And we've got a gigantic booth. I think I expanded it to 3 times what we had last time. So we've got a big space this time. And we've got plenty of room for at least 1, maybe even 2 guys to kind of partner with us and add to the space. And I like doing that because, it brings more attention to the booth and rah me. But I really do want to collaborate. Like I like what app. So when I start talking like this, it starts sounding like AbMat, which is collaboration, competition. I love.
But I mean, like when you go to their booth, it's like a poster board for collaboration. I'm like, yes, this is what it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And because, so I think the reason that works is a lot of people don't understand that we don't fit neatly in a box, right? So we sell new and used commercial gym equipment. And when people hear that, they're like, okay, do you have your own product? And it's like, not exactly. We've got Hammerclad, but it doesn't fit neatly. Like Fringe Sport, they make their own stuff. They make bars, they make plugs, that kind of thing. Like same with Rogue, same with Rep Fitness. Like they make their own stuff. When we come along, we're a distributor, so we're essentially a third party for presenting these brands to people, especially in the commercial space that they've never heard of. Matrix, Life Fitness, Precor, or some of the smaller brands that make like I'm just trying to take a couple off of my head. Even like GetRx, which honestly, like I don't think a lot of people understand how good their products are. And so we'll try to present these as really good brands that we can offer and distribute. And we have a national platform that we can do, or an international platform that we can use to promote them. So it kind of makes sense, like having that collab, because we are the distributor, to kind of show off all of this other stuff that's happening in the home gym community. And that for me makes more sense than being like, oh, just buy my stuff, because everybody else is doing that. I want to show off other brands, show what you can kind of get in this space that's really worthwhile, and at the same time be able to cross promote with other people who are doing really good work, so they can get some attention on top of showing off what they do.
So here's the thing, because of you mentioned your unique position, right? And that's where things like Home Gym Con, Ursa, the 50, the different fit expos.
Yeah.
That's where being a distributor actually hurts you.
Yeah.
Because Body Solid is that, so you're a distributor, authorized distributor for Body Solid. Well, what are you going to have Body Solid stuff at your booth? Now, Body Solid has a booth.
Exactly.
Nobody needs to go to your booth for Body Solid, right?
Yep.
So it helps you to be a distributor outside of the expos.
Yeah.
Because Body Solid can just say, Scott can just say, oh, well, if you're looking for our stuff and you live in North Carolina, go over to Ashton's, Freedom Fitness Equipment, and they've got like the dealer locator right there, and it sends people to you. But at something like Home Gym Con, I think that another benefit for you is it gives you a thing that people can come to that they're not going to see anywhere else. You're not going to see Garage Gym Life banners anywhere but at your site, because, well, quite frankly, I don't have the energy to sell it anywhere else. All right. And it's just easy for me to say, no, just go to this one spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people get there, they're going to see, hey, okay, if I want, they'll see like the Garage Gym Life banner there, and they can come up and ask you questions. Then they find out what else you do. They're like, oh, shoot. And I'll say this too. I wasn't thinking about this before. It just occurred to me. That's why I'm bringing it up now. But it's the thing about Home Gym Con is somebody could go to the Body Solid booth, fall in love with a piece of equipment. Then they ask Body Solid, well, where do I get this thing?
There you go.
Order it.
Yeah.
Body Solid should send them to your booth and say, well, go place an order.
Yep.
Just go right. And to me, you should have your booth like right next to Body Solid. Hey, I'd like to buy this. Okay, we'll step right over here.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton will take care of you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how maybe I'm dumb, but that's how my mind works. Like, you're the authorized dealer for this guy right here, not that guy all the way across on the other side of the room. No, that guy right there. Hey man, what if I want to buy this? Oh, well, go right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's just how I think. You know what I mean? I think
quick before you burn off that topic, the other thing that I probably could do a better job of promoting is, especially within the local area, we do a really good job with service maintenance and repairs. So, and that's not something that, and flooring for that matter, but that's something I've started promoting a lot recently. But yeah, I think what people don't realize about it, a lot of these distributors and dealers like us, is their service offering is full service white glove. So if you drop by a booth like ours, yeah, we sell equipment like a lot of these other manufacturers at Home Gym Con would, but we also can install it, we can repair it, we can maintain it over the life of the equipment. And a lot of people don't even know to ask that question. So I could honestly do a much better job about promoting that side of the business, because that's a key part of how we stay in business and how we help people with that kind of stuff.
Man, and that's what I'm talking about is like, when I say I can help push people to your website, and I encourage you guys who are watching, like, man, send people to freedomfitnessequipment.com, because you see that Ashton is trying to support the home gym community. I think a lot of times on the consumer side, we see somebody and we say, oh, well, they're on YouTube, they must be doing fine, they don't need me. What I do doesn't matter. I don't need to share their stuff up. They don't need, nobody that I know cares about this. And I'm like, that's not true. Just for example, I could be driving down the road, see a billboard for a restaurant, right? And I see it. So obviously they've got the money for the billboard, right? But then my cousin says, hey, let's go out to eat. I really like this restaurant, right? When I saw the billboard, well, now my cousin saying this is a good restaurant, it's going to carry more weight with me. And it's going to be the thing that ignites my desire to actually go to the restaurant than me just seeing it and saying, oh, yeah, if I've never been there, I've never seen something, never been there, and just decided I'm going to go eat there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not the trusting sort. So I'm just like, yeah, I just don't do that. So I think that this is situations like this where, especially in the home gym community where we're so tight with each other on social media, where people promoting you more, Freedom Fitness Equipment more, I think makes a big difference. And I think it is a big deal. People should repost your stuff. I know Instagram tends to not the algorithm doesn't like reposts as much as it used to. So people don't want to do it. But to me, it's like, hey, that's what you do. When people tag at Freedom Fitness Equipment on Instagram when they do a post or whatever. And I need to do a better job of that. If it's something that I got from you, hey, shout out to Freedom Fitness Equipment. But again, this is an organic way with the banner now. I can just say anytime I see somebody make a post and they've got the banner in the background, I'm like, hey, see that banner right there? Shout out to Freedom Fitness Equipment, if you want one yourself. So I think that's really cool. Something else that's really cool is you're very patriotic. I don't even know what you call it. I called it the Freedom Rack. That you what is tell me about this thing. Is this something you're gonna sell? Tell me all about it.
So that was a 2-year project, John. So that not even a joke. That was a 2-year project because I could not find. I had this idea in my head. I want to create a custom American flag coated rack, Cerakote, who knows? And I just wanted to do that because I thought it would blend perfectly with our brand, and I just thought it would be a cool statement showpiece that we could bring to Home Gym Con, conferences, expos, to show off the ability that we have to customize equipment. Now, it's a little over the top and expensive, but like we have the ability to customize things, and people don't often know that. So having a standout piece like that really gets people's attention, and it's just fun, honestly. I can put it on the website and have fun with it on social media. But it took, so I started reaching out to people. So I reached out to half a dozen of the traditional like custom manufacturers that you would see.
Anybody who doesn't see it, and if you just listen to the audio, you come back during Ashton's segment, which is the third segment, and you can. I just put it up in the thing so you guys can check out what we're talking about.
There it is.
Freedom. There you go. Well, go ahead, man. I cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So it took me 2 years because I had plenty of equipment manufacturers that were made in the US that I could tap for the equipment side, but getting the actual rack made in that level of detail was almost impossible. So essentially there were only a few different types of coatings that you could put on there. I was thinking at first maybe Cerakote, because you see, gun slides and things that have the American flag on them that are distressed that look really cool, and they have an intricate level of detail. You can't do this with powder coat. So all the traditional options are out. It's just absolutely like powder coating, you essentially can stencil and that's about it. You can't add any level of detail like this. Then I thought about airbrushing, but then you got to get a designer involved. And then I finally settled on essentially it's a custom paint job that you would find on like motorcycles, for example, where you can get a level of etching and detail into the rack, like the stars with the waves going on. And that was the only that was possible. And it has like a clear coat on top of it. So it's a little bit protected. It'd get more scratch more easily than say a powder coat, which is a little harder wearing coating.
Sure.
But it holds up decently well. Like we had guys bench pressing off of it, and it actually did really well. But that was a 2-year project. So that was a collab between Black Widow for the rack, Bridge Built for the J Cups, and then a local guy who did the actual paint job. And I'm hoping to, and by the way, right equipment with that bench. I'm hoping to add this to this. So my goal is
trying to get in touch with right equipment because they're actually only like 3.5 hours away from me. I think I wanted to go by their place, and of course, Home Gym Con was so hectic for me that I didn't actually get to go see them at their booth. I was like, geez, like the one company that's not far from me, and I wanted to go reach out to, and I ran up anyway. That's that goes back to that we had 3 days thing. But
they're great.
I love I've seen their stuff at in someone else's home gym, and I was like, oh man, right equipment. I need to make sure I reach out to them, and I just, it's gonna happen. But
they're awesome company. The goal with this is to actually expand it further. So I want to get American flag bar, plates. Bridge Built has some really nice ones. I'd love to have. Maybe a few other accessories.
These are the Bridge Built J Cups, right?
Bridge Built J Cups, yeah. So, and I have an idea for another design, which I'm not going to share right now, but I have another idea for another design that if we get enough funds, I would like to be able to put side by side with this rack. That would just look super cool.
Nice.
I love
it, man.
The first project. I had an idea about selling a limited run of maybe this and maybe one other design and just making it, insanely exclusive. Because guys, if anybody's listening to the conversation about this rack, the cost to build this is you wouldn't believe it's astronomical.
Oh, I can, especially if it's one-off. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, just like, and plus I've got to ship from every single manufacturer, and then I've got to ship back and forth from the coder. Like it's so much. It probably took us, when we started thinking about the process took 2 years, but the actual design and build process and getting it all together was like 6 months. It took forever. So it's not an easy thing. So if I did it as a limited run, it would be just a few of these things. But I'm thinking about it. I ran it by there was a home gym forum I was running it by. But if anybody wants to do something like this with us, I would consider it. It would be very, very expensive, but I'm open. I'm open to the idea. I really like how that turned out. I think it looks
I even like the little touches, like your logo on the bench.
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to Keith Harris back when he owned Dynabody, and he's like, yeah, I can put your logo on the bench. And Garage Gym, like I just started, I was like, man, I don't have money to do all that, but it was something that I knew was possible. But I just like those little touches like that to just make them, that makes things a little bit more personal to the brand. The thing I'm thinking about is, when you said you want to make this available, would it be this rack, like this color scheme, or are you saying, okay, this rack made by Black Widow, but maybe it's got multiple colorway options, or is it specifically this American flag freedom? I mean, it kind of goes with the name, Freedom Fitness. So is that what you're talking about when you say you like to make that available?
So I'd like to do it almost like a handmade product where the color scheme would be roughly the same, but you could add a few different types of customizations to it as far as attachments or the things you'd want on there. Like I didn't show it in this photo, but I actually do have dip handles that Dean gave me for this, and you could add band pegs and things. But the color scheme, I think, would probably be roughly the same or vary depending on what the artist decided to do with the flag itself. Like it might vary from the color scheme, where the colors end might vary just slightly because it's more hand painted. But yeah, I think I'd probably like to stick with that and maybe one other design that I was thinking of, and just do that as a run. Just because if we get into custom design or a completely different design on that, I'm not really set up to do that very well. And there's like a design cost to that as well that I don't know.
No. What I mean is, like, let's say you Henry Ford it. So it's just black.
Yeah, right.
Or it's just, or
the American flag.
Just black, or black and red. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying, like, it's not just basic, more basic than that. Specific rack, with those specific options, but not an American flag in just like I said, basic color options.
So that is I can already do that. So that is
look at him go. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a complete process.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Say again?
No, I said I'm giving you the big screen because I didn't know that you did that. Because I know that you like, heck, when I reached out to you for a rack, we ended up getting an older one, but so I don't know. So tell me about that. If I wanted to buy a rack like this, go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, because we're a dealer distributor for several brands, we've got partners that do customizations like that, like Right Equipment, where I can just order a basic rack, but then I can customize it with one upright being blue, one upright being red. It's a little bit more expensive, or a lot more expensive than a used rack, but less expensive than doing something completely custom like that one. And yeah, we already do that today. It wouldn't be as intricate, say, as like the Bridge Built J Cups. Right. But they do different color schemes, logos, even laser engraved headers, all the customization on the benches, like the stitching and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, that's 100% possible, like today. And you'll see other companies do that too. Not even us, like Williams Strength does a really good job of this, but they're all 100% custom on everything they do. And they do a lot of like collegiate stuff. But yeah, no, we have that capability today. That's something that we could do all day, every day, honestly.
So so you've got like this whole thing where people want to, like I'm doing, like a Frankensteining a rack, right? Somebody wants to Frankenstein a rack, but maybe they don't want to do it slowly like I'm doing it. They just says, hey, I want to start with the Rep PR 5000 as a base, and then from there I want to build, this or whatever, or like you said, Right Fitness. I want to start with this, but I want to add this to it, and this and this and this, and customize it to myself. And you do everything and send it to me, and it's a custom, so it doesn't just kind of look like everybody else's Right Fitness rack or something like that. So I like that you're able to do that. Got a question from Jared. Said, did you find some efficiencies you'd enact? So basically, if somebody wants to order the rack, you find some efficiencies you'd enact today that would streamline the process.
100%.
So it wouldn't take 6 months.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's definitely some things we can do and timing that we can set up that makes it a lot more efficient now. So the design's already set. So our designer and the guy that did the coding now knows exactly what we're looking for. So that's more efficient. Whoever's rack that we use, we could, that's really not a problem. And I can use I can also, even if we didn't use Black Widow, we could use a different kind of manufacturer that has a faster lead time on the rack production process itself, especially if you wanted a bigger type of rack or a longer type of rack or taller, whatever. So yeah, absolutely. Like I learned a lot through this process. I now know where to go, who to talk to, and how to get around. So yeah, it wouldn't be 6 months. It'd probably be a few months, but it wouldn't be 6, thankfully.
All right. Now, Travis has a question, and I don't exactly understand this question, Travis. So I'm going to read it. And then if you understand it, then we'll just roll with it. But if not, he says, what about doing a heat shrink sleeve for the aftermarket add-on? So do you understand what he's asking you?
Yeah. So basically what he's talking about is, and this is part of the reason why it took 2 years. One of the other options we considered was essentially think of vinyl wrapping a car, just doing that on the squat rack. That's what he's talking about. So you wouldn't necessarily.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can heat shrink the vinyl wrap on top. And I did actually explore that option, but part of the issue is durability, although the method we used isn't necessarily a lot more durable, but it is a little bit more durable than a vinyl, because if you touch that, like it's getting torn up. But yes, you could create a preset like, I guess, CAD out of vinyl, and then every time you have a rack, and as long as it's the same spec, you just heat wrap that on. The problem you run into is there's nobody who wants to do that. So because there's a zillion holes you've got to cut out individually, whereas with the car, it's like you just go around the headlights and things. The process is just so much more insanely complicated. And that was one of the options we explored early on. It's just that the time commitment is crazy. And it was actually, I want to say 3 times more expensive than just doing the straight coating with what we did originally with the paint. So yeah, it's a great idea. I like it. And I would love to find a process that's a little bit more streamlined, but yeah, man, it's that's a lot of cutting.
All right. Matthew Porter says that rack is so cool, and he's correct. It is. So I was thinking about it, like I saw when you posted the thing in the home gym group, and I was like, I should have. So in my head, I actually typed the response, but then when I was gonna do it in real life, I was like, wait a minute, this isn't helpful for what you wanted to know. So what I'm just gonna say it now is I think this would be the sort of thing that would be awesome for 4th of July.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's sort of like, hey, we're gonna do our 4th of July sale, and this is available now. We've got, I don't know. So like next year, Home Gym Con.
Yeah.
We won't be too far away from 4th of July. So like, hey, I can buy a ton of these. You have it there. It'll be like, hey, this is kind of cool. So yeah, that makes sense. Eric's got a question. So what about using one of them dips for wrapping?
Yep. Also something we explored. So that's called hydro dipping. And that also has its limitations. So with Cerakote and hydro dipping and vinyl wrap, so I'll run to a few of these. So with Cerakote, we didn't have the ability. Now you can do an air dried Cerakote, which I didn't explore fully, but that would have allowed us to have a less durable coating, and it would probably had the same level of detail. You could do hydro dipping, but you have to have a tank, which hardly anybody did, that's long enough and wide enough to accommodate at least the uprights and maybe a few of the other pieces. the problem you run into with that is wherever that hydro dip wraps around, you're going to have a line straight down the back. So it doesn't look quite as good and seamless as something that's completely painted 360. With that wrap, you've got to make sure that wherever it overlaps, it's continuous. So if you've got the stars and bars wrapping around the upright, where the connection point is, it needs to look like it's still striped or starred properly. Otherwise, there's gonna be a seam down the middle of the rack that looks like part of a star, part of a stripe, and it doesn't connect. So that was the issue we ran into with hydro dipping. Again, love that concept and did explore it, but it's got its limitations.
You can only do it like they do rims if it's spinning. That's the only thing. It's got to spin. If it's not spinning, it doesn't work. So, man, while we wrap up, what else is going on with Freedom Fitness Equipment? More specifically, why haven't I been invited to be a guest on your podcast? And I want you to know that how much longer this interview goes depends heavily on your answer to this question. Go ahead.
So on the podcast, we actually haven't done an episode for probably, it's probably been a year. I stopped doing that because I got burnt out. So right now we only do it if there's like a local gym that we're interested in doing business with and I want to invite the owner on. But honestly, I really haven't had any opportunities to do that because we've been so busy just trying to make our business more efficient. So John, a little bit of insider baseball here. Last year at this time, we had 1 employee. This year we have 7. So the business has exploded, and in all the right ways. We have some awesome team members that are working. I've got a maintenance supervisor now who's just an incredible dude. Our operations guy is a crack genius. All these guys who are working for us are phenomenal, but it took forever for us to kind of get this together. And yeah, I've been so busy that I haven't even had time to crank out another episode. We used to do it weekly, and then we went to bi-weekly, and I went to monthly, and I was like, this is not, I didn't even have, so you're able to promote the media side of things because that's your business. Yeah. We are equipment, and I was trying to promote the equipment side and do the media side at the same time, and it just wrecked everything. So I'd love to do another episode. So we should talk. But it's got to be my downtime.
If that's really your hold up, I've got a lot more ideas than that. Okay. If you're telling me that's the problem, yeah, we'll definitely talk. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Because I get it, man. It's one of those things that's like, well, actually, it's the reverse of what I said you're helping me with. When I was like, handing these off to you makes it so I can do this more efficiently, right? So yeah, I completely get it. It's like trying to do both is tough. And there's a reason why when you reach out, I don't know, like Rogue Fitness has an entire media section. They've got an entire media department, right?
Yeah.
Because you just small business trying to do everything yourself, especially with as demanding as the social media audience is. Like I saw people crucifying PRX for the fact that they were reading their response. And I was like, out of all of the things that I dislike about this, the fact that people who are not trained media people are reading a response and look nervous is not the thing that stands out to me. I'm like, it's not what they do. I'm like, heck, go out to the NFL and try to throw a football. You know what I mean? If you try to do something you're not used to doing, you're going to look like a monkey humping a football. So I get it. There's a reason why people get paid to do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So hang on a sec. So he says, John, I commented on Ashton's post about how he may want to consider a knurled axle bar, right?
Yeah.
And in my humble opinion, but I'm right, you need to reach out to David in fact, I'll put you guys in touch with each other since both of y'all like to recklessly hand out your phone number on the internet. I feel like you'll vibe with each other. David Gorilla Strength, he makes that 45-pound neural axle bar. I know Right Fitness has one as well. I think theirs is 65 pounds, I want to say. They've got a 65-pound, I don't know if it's neural, but they got a 65-pound axle. David's is a 45-pound neural axle bar. And the markings are set up to match powerlifting markings. So you
Oh.
can use it as a powerlifting accessory bar.
So
Go ahead.
now I understand what Jared was saying. Okay, I did not realize he was thinking about doing the same thing we did with the banner, which was carry the pro. Sorry, I did totally. Yeah. So yes, because coincidences of all coincidences, we are trying to carry strongman product, but nobody has a full line. Like I need. So I was talking with look him up. Landon Neifert is our world record holding powerlifting strongman outside sales guy. He is awesome.
Yeah.
He has like from the beginning
a lot.
Oh yeah.
I've seen this video.
He wants to carry a full line strongman, but we don't have like Belt of Steel has pads and Cerberus has, chalk and like a few other accessories. And a few companies have, farmers carries. Rep has the yoke. Nobody has all of these things. So we wanted to carry a full line. And if I've been trying to talk with so many just individual machinists, and they always back out because the volume's not there, or if the volume is there, they can't fulfill it. So I actually love this idea, and I'm hoping to find somebody. So Jared and I, you and I need to talk, because I want to find somebody who can do like a 4-in-1 yoke and farmer's carry handles and a log press bar and a bunch of other stuff, the axle, like, so we can get this out in the strongman community. Because those guys, especially if we can do it efficiently and at scale, they usually don't have a ton of money unless you're a federation. And we need to be able to offer something that's reasonable and can stand up and is super durable for those guys who are, busting up like 1,000 pounds. So yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, again, shameless plug for David, just because I've got. So let me back up. So I've used some of Dean's stuff, but in a like a home gym setting, right?
Yeah.
All right. And so I know this stuff works. Okay. I'm not saying it's not good. But the thing with David is David actually was making equipment for Strongman Corporation. Like his stuff was used at Strongman Corporation, like at their nationals. So he's got things like the wheelbarrow that he specially made for them. He's got he made this 45. Actually, so the reason why he made the 45 pound knurled axle was because I asked him for one, because he had a 30 pound, and I got lazy. I said, look, I'm tired of doing the math, right?
Yep.
It's like it's a 30 pound bar. I don't want to have to just constantly have to always, like, the easy way to, in case somebody's watching, what I was doing was I put a 5-pound plate on each side. So now it just, it's a 35 pound, something like that. So boom, now it's a 45 pound bar. Right? I didn't want to do that anymore. It seems like a 5 and a 2.5 or something like that. I don't feel like doing that anymore. I know, like, whatever weight I put on there, I got to add a 5 and a 2.5. I don't want to do that anymore. So I just said, hey, can you make me I said, I can't find a 45 pound knurled axle bar. Right. And I wanted a knurled axle bar because fat bar training is a great way to to support powerlifting training.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to get your bench up, one of the best ways to do it is to do fat bar training. So I wanted the markings to be similar to what I have on a bar, so I don't have to change my hand spacing.
That's awesome.
Right. So he's like, oh yeah, I can do that. And he's a simple. So in fact, I'll link the video in the description for this video, showing like how we broke down the knurled axle bar, and I'll just send it to you so you can check it out. But yeah, he's got a ton of different things out there. He's got stuff for like climbers. He's got a lot of strongman competition stuff.
Yep.
I think from there it just becomes a question of how much of each you would want to keep in stock.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so what I'll do is I'll connect the two of you guys and then let y'all kind of just go from there. But as Jared says, Dean also has stuff. I just don't know what Dean's lead time is on stuff. He's like
Dean, it's just not. He's so busy, and Dean does stuff, but like, man, he's backed up. Like, he's got 80 orders a day. It's crazy.
Right. And David has. He has stuff too, but he's got he's got people helping him in his shop, so he can get stuff cranked out a little bit. Yep. Even if he's making the thing for you. He's got other people who can make other stuff, so it frees him up to be able to make the thing.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Yeah. That's.
And actually, there's another thing that he sells that was actually an idea that I gave him. So I'll hand that off to you too, because I think it's a tib bar. right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we can talk about that offline though. But anyway,
Sweet.
I think to just wrap things up, I think that this is an outstanding opportunity. I encourage anybody who is a content creator to take advantage of this. That you see the phone number right there, and if you're listening to the audio version of this on Podbean, the phone number is 980-216-4860. Reach out to Ashton, and he can hook you up. And if you've got something that's quality that he can stock and provide to your supporters, whatever, then don't turn down this opportunity. And then if you're somebody, I'll go ahead and I'll do this. Normally I do this with a recliner of rage, but I want to say, Ashton is a supporter of this show, and he can hook you up with anything you need to hook up your home gym, to whatever you're like. We were just talking about customizing home gym equipment. So go ahead and reach out to him for that. But Ashton, is there anything else, anything you want to plug, with your YouTube channel with billions and billions of subscribers that you got? Anything you got going on here? I think that's just hilarious.
Yeah, man. No,
he's got over 200,000 subscribers, right? But he doesn't, he's just like anyway, go ahead. What else you got to plug?
No. So commercial gym equipment is, I'll just make this plug again because I love talking about it. Particularly used commercial gym equipment. If you have not explored that for your home gym, please do, particularly on the cardio side. There's a lot of companies out there like Nordic Track, Proform, and Soul, and I'm going to call those companies out specifically because, John, you may have one of these. I apologize in advance, but I really think they're trash. Most of these treadmills and cardio pieces on the commercial side, Matrix, Life Fitness, Matrix, Life Fitness, Precore, they're built to last 10 times longer,
Right,
and then, so I would encourage anybody on the used commercial side to take a look. It doesn't even have to be with us, just the Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and really invest some time and effort into doing the research and also getting some pieces for your home gym because they last longer and they're just
forever.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And Ashton also, let's go back to this, kind of ties into the thing with Travis and why I said I wanted to connect you and Travis, is because Ashton's in North Carolina, and when I ordered the power rack from him, it's not like you brought it yourself. You had a company that brought it over. All I did was open the garage door. They brought it in, they assembled it, and then it was quick too, and they were in and out. So that is something that you can take advantage of. Our guy Frank Ray, who lives down the road from you, Frank's not trying to put together all that equipment. He's let's just say mature. All right. Hey, I hope I look that good when I get to Frank's age. But so my point is that he can get the stuff to your house, get it installed for you. Or if you feel like hey, I just want to put it together myself, I'm sure Ashton will let you put stuff together yourself too. So there's that. But yeah, man, you don't even have to, as far as the podcast goes or anything that relates to promotion or whatever, just hit me up. I'm happy to let people know about all the good stuff that you're doing over there, man. And I appreciate you jumping on here.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Maybe we'll work it out with Jake so you and I actually be on another. See, you notice he's kept us separated since you and I had disagreed about rep fitness and military bases. He hadn't let us be on the same podcast since. So we're in neutral corners. I promise we like each other, Jake. You can schedule us on the same podcast now. I know he's doing it because he always say, hey, anybody feel like anybody want to do a podcast? But he'll set it on the day that I said specifically I can't do. I'm like, hey, what are you doing, man? Oh, Ashton's on there. Oh, I get it now. He don't want us. He's keeping us separated. Okay, I get it. But yeah, we'll see if we can't work that out. All right, man. I hit you up later on.
Sounds good. Take it easy.
Later. All right, that was my guy Ashton Ferrazzo, and if I didn't say it enough, you can get Garage Gym Life banners like so many of you guys have. You've supported us. You can get Garage Gym Life banners by going to freedomfitnessequipment.com. I've got the link in the description, so you guys can just go there and use promo code Best Gym in Town and use that at checkout, and you'll save some money, but also you'll be able to, it'll support this show because, like I said, I'm trying to be funded by you, not funded by random brands, whoever has money to do a brand deal with me. I'd rather be funded by you guys, so that I can basically, I work for you, so I got to do the content that you want. That's what makes sense to me. Now we got a couple more segments. First, Good morning to the West Coast. This is our final hour of the Way Too Early for a Friday morning show. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been an awesome show. So what you guys have missed so far, I encourage you to use a rewind. We started the day off with Ben and Chris from GymPin talking about the GymPin line of products, and they've got some cool stuff coming out. So definitely want to jump back to the beginning of this show and check out the interview I did with Ben and Chris from GymPin. Then I also had Travis from Travis Assembly and Setup. You guys need to give him a follow on Facebook. Travis has some really cool stories about setting up home gym equipment. And if we get enough people watching and commenting, then Travis said that he's willing to come on and do a Q&A. So if you have questions about any piece of home gym equipment that you're trying to set up and you just can't figure it out, go ahead and put those questions in the comment section. We'll bring Travis back on and we'll do the best we can to get those questions answered and get you guys hooked up. Then we also had, we just finished talking to my guy, Ashton Ferrazzo, because Ashton and Freedom Fitness Equipment is the place to go if you would like to purchase a Garage Gym Life banner. It is the only place where you can get one. And Ashton ships internet. He'll ship anywhere on the planet, as far as I know. As long as you've got a mailbox there, and UPS or whatever delivers to you, Ashton will get you a banner. You see what the banner look like? It's right there on the website. And these are some high quality banners. And I did that specifically so I could show y'all the legendary Coach Carp with his banner that he got. Then we've got some other people who've got banners, and you guys can see some of these banners of these banners are holding up. So they're all around the world. Our guy Frank Ray right there, I mentioned. My guy Carlos with the Garage Gym Life banner over his shoulder. This one's in South Georgia. So like I said, these banners hold up really, really well. And I wanted to make it so that I could put it in your hands. And Ashton is stepping in. He's going to do the order fulfillment for you. Before we get out of here, though, of course, we're going to talk about a couple of news items. First news item is I'm working on getting this show up on podcast platforms. I mentioned that you can check it out on Podbean right now. Right now, you can find it. So that's an audio replay, and so the link to do that is in the live chat and is in the comment section of the show. So if that's something that you're interested in, just being able to listen to the audio, so you don't have to have YouTube open, especially if you're driving around and you got to use GPS or something, and you don't have YouTube Premium. That's a great way for you to be able to. That's a good way for you to be able to still listen to the show because it's intended to go with you to during your day and keep you entertained. So just check it out. Check it out on Podbean, but I am working on making it available on Apple Podcasts and all of the other podcast platforms. Second thing is something that we've been talking about for a little while, but in case you didn't know it, Rep Fitness is going commercial. They are expanding their product line to include commercial facilities. And the thing that they said they're bringing to this is that's kind of, I don't want to say different, but what they're bringing to the commercial side, I think is important because they're going to tailor the products to the end user. And what that means is basically whenever you go to something like URSA or IDEA, Fit Expo, all these different expos, and I've been to some of these trade shows, they set it up so that it's kind of like catered towards the person buying the equipment, right? Which kind of makes sense, right? They're the ones spending the money. You cater it towards the gym owner. But there's some limitations with that. And so Rep Fitness, because they come from the home gym side, they're accustomed to catering towards the person who's actually going to be using the equipment. On the home gym side, the person buying it is typically the one that's going to be using it. But they're bringing that sensibility about, hey, let's make sure that the person using the equipment likes it, that it fits for them. And so they're going to be going to, after over a decade in the home gym space, Rep Fitness has said they're going to go and kind of start trying to compete with Rogue and some other brands in the in Life Fitness, Nautilus. They're trying to compete with them, Hammer Strength, on the commercial side. So number one, do you care that rep is doing that? And does it worry you that maybe they'll start to not value the home gym segment as much? Because the thing with Rogue is Rogue does most of their business with commercial facilities, not necessarily like Gold's Gym, but more like military bases, semi-private and private studios, CrossFit boxes. That's the Rogue wheelhouse. So home gyms are kind of like an afterthought for Rogue. So it feels like rep is going down that pathway. So does that make you nervous? If you're somebody who's been using rep fitness equipment products and you're a fan of this, does that make you nervous in any way that we're gonna start being like the redheaded stepchild, so to say, of their product line? That's something that's like the only thing that kind of gives me pause, I guess, is something that I hope doesn't happen, but it is what it is. So let's go into the final segment. Go ahead and put your comments about that and just let me know what you think. I just kind of like I'm taking the temperature of the home gym population. If you'd like to read the article that I just showed you guys, just let me know, and then I'll put the link to the article in the live chat for you to see, and I'll put it in the comment section if you want it as well. All right, but now let's go to I'd say it's probably the most popular segment because I think y'all like to laugh at my pain, but that's okay. And there it is, Recliner Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage. It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
Okay, so this is a curveball because today's Recliner of Rage is dedicated to the fact that I don't have anything to be mad about. I know that sounds weird to you. You're like, okay, if you got no reason to be mad, why are you mad? It's because I'm a veteran. You understand? I feel like this is a plot by the Illuminati because they know this is the most popular segment of the show. Okay? So they're trying to sabotage me by not having anything break yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to break. It means they made sure it didn't break in time for me to talk about it on the show. I feel like as soon as the show is over and I go downstairs to use the treadmill, something's going to go wrong, right? And then I'm going to be mad because I'm like, oh, why? That would have been a perfect segment for Recliner Rage, but then the show's over, so now I can't have it as a segment until next week. So they're trying to leave me without content, which is completely sabotage. They're trying to keep the little guy down, okay? I know, and don't say I'm paranoid. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of this. My wife and I raised 4 boys to adulthood, and we're raising a daughter now. I know when somebody's up to something. They can't fool me. I have got my eyes out, okay? I've got my eyes out. Even when the lights are off in my gym, I'm still kind of looking through the window to see what's going on because everything, let me just say this, everything is under suspicion until the culprit is identified because I know that we don't just go from stuff breaking every week to all of a sudden nothing's going wrong. I'm looking, okay? I'm looking. Even when I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way too, okay? I'm looking. I know something's about to happen. I'm checking. I'm talking about this. If I'm looking this way, but I'm looking this way too, and that way and that way. Okay? I know something's going on. I know when something's going on. And the way I know something's going on is nothing's going on. I know it. I'm just telling you. And when something happens, you know what I'm saying? I knew it. I knew it. I'm looking though. Like crossing the street, look every single direction. Because I know what's going on. All right. I already told y'all to check out freedomfitnessequipment.com because that way they'll make sure that you're not in a recliner raised there in your home gym. But again, I know I'm looking. Okay, I'm just saying. Look, Carlos, I see you laughing at me, but I'm telling you, I know something's going on, man. It's too. You know how they ever say it's too quiet? Exactly, it's too quiet. It's suspicious, and for me, all I got to do is be suspicious. You dang right. Shout out to Louis Gossett Jr., officer and gentleman. You plotting on me, boy? That is exactly what I'm thinking. He knew it. He knew it. He knew it. I know. No, that's not Louis Gossett Jr. That's a Homie the Clown. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. We here, Carlos. We here. But I'm also there. And I'm there. And I'm looking because I know I understand. I know the game. Okay. You can't trick me. Okay. I'm watching. Anyway, coming up next week, we've got another packed show. We've got let's see here. Let me roll up in my thing. These are the things I have confirmed. And hold up before I can go. I can't even go to my outro. Now I see you laughing. Carlos, I know. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all know. I'm telling you, something is going on. I feel like something's going to happen. I'm like walking down the stairs. When I get off of here, I'm going to walk down the stairs carefully. I'm going to use every bit. I got a deadlift today. Everything's going to be used with caution because there's no way that there's not something going on. It's just too quiet. I feel it. There's trembling in the, what do you call it? I feel a disturbance in the force. I'm telling you, I just can't identify the specific location at this time. Shout out to Samuel L. Jackson and Donald Rumsford. There are known knowns and unknown knowns. We don't know what we don't know. But you know what I know? That there's something out there happening. And just because I don't know about it don't mean I don't know. Okay. Know that. Okay. Just know that. Okay. Just know that. Anyway, yeah, I know Samuel Jackson said it, but it also came from Donald Rumsford when he was trying to explain. He was explaining about Iraq. Anyway, man, I got to get out of here. I got to go get on the treadmill. I've been sitting for like 5 hours because the show's 3 hours and change. And then I'm up for 2 hours early getting it ready to go. So, have Al Divine from Kaizen DIY join us. He's going to talk about everything he's got going on. Hopefully, he'll be able to give us an update, a positive update on the whole situation, the controversy with PRX. But regardless, Kyle's going to be here. Kyle was gracious enough to have me as a guest on his podcast a while back, and I'm finally able to return the favor. And I'm glad to have him on. And then also, I've dragged Sean Crandall. I've dragged him into the daylight. Sean's a night owl, but I've dragged him into the daylight, made him a day walker for one Friday. Sean Crandall from Crandall Fitness is going to be joining us. We're going to talk about all of the stuff that he's got going on with Crandall Fitness, any new stuff that he's got going on. Maybe even talk a little bit about a little secret project. And so if you guys have any questions about Crandall Fitness equipment, make sure you show up next week. Have your questions in the live chat. Don't be late. Don't be late. Show up next week with all your questions for Crandall Fitness. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you.